the people have the power. The power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world.
We don't sleep to dream, we sleep to build stamina, energy to do our thing. Get your camera on. This show is about to begin, so sit down and buckle it in. Let's go!
Let's go!
My name is Brian. That is Shane. That is Darren. And that is John. Welcome to the BRANE Show. We got a great show for you today. We're talking about Stargate and the revival.
We are not happy about it.
Or the cancellation. Okay, all right. Thank you, Shane. Thank you.
Sorry, I can't wait.
We're talking about all that and more. And of course, we have our lovely guest on today. You know him as the master of all Stargate knowledge. Holodar, the GateWorld Ori.
Is this John?
How you doing today, Johnny? I mean, not Johnny. Thanks. How you doing today, Darren? Good to see you.
I will happily play second fiddle, John.
No. You're the Braytac of all of this, my friend. Yes. You really are.
All right, you're the Ori.
That's great.
Hey, guys, I'm glad to be back. It's been a minute. I wish we had better news to talk about this week, but
I know, right? We finally get you back on. It's all bad news.
Yeah,
we still love Stargate. We can be positive. We can be mad and positive.
This is true. When was the last time you were on the show? It was like 3 years ago, right?
It was it was a while ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago. We've been doing.
We're going through all the phases of when you've lost something, right? So of grieving.
Yeah.
So we started out angry, right?
No, I'm still
angry, sad, and now we
denial, bargaining.
Yeah, all those things.
I've seen it all online in the last, since Tuesday afternoon was when the news broke.
I'm skipping all that. I'm going straight from anger to bargaining. I can make this work.
Get something out of it. Yeah. We ain't got time for all the other ones. Well, listen, it's great to have everybody here today. We are so happy to have Darren from GateWorld, longtime friend. And of course, if you guys haven't, I'm sure everybody knows about GateWorld, but if you haven't for some reason, make sure you guys go to gateworld.net, check out his content. Also, he's got a YouTube channel. And what's really cool is when the Stargate franchise was coming back in November, Martin Garrow reached out to Darren, Dave from Dial the Gate, and said, let's get together and let's announce this to the fans. And so Darren's been like ground level for most of this. Mm-hmm. He's had a lot of interaction with Martin and with a lot of people involved. And we wanted to talk about Stargate today, what's happened if you haven't heard, and kind of where we're going from here and what we plan to do about it, if we can do anything. And so if we can just get a little breakdown, Darren, if you want to tell us a little bit about.
Yeah, well, hold on before we go on there. We got to pay some bills. Sorry.
Oh, you want to pay the bills? All right.
Yeah, listen. If you
forget about that part.
If you guys want to support, all right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
If you guys want to support us, go to mixtees.com. I'm putting the thing up right now. Go right there and buy something. BRANE is the coupon code. Get 10% off. You can buy anything you want there, but if you go to our store specifically, Shane feels really good about it. So that's really important to Shane. So we should do that. Also, you can always become a member or give a super chat. All those other good things. After today's show, we're going to the member section. We're going to talk to you a little more direct. And Johnny, what happens in the member section?
It gets freaky naughty.
Freaky naughty. Remember that. That's the member section. The member section is freaky naughty.
Oh man, I'm sad to miss that.
Yeah. It's a dangerous place, mate, for people on the panel. I will just tell you that.
Yeah. Okay, now we can get into it. Yes, we're talking about Stargate and the possible cancellation and everything we're trying to do to stop it and what can be done and all that. And Darren, break it down, brother.
It is canceled, but we're going to make noise. That's we're still lining up our ducks behind the scenes. We want to figure out what's the positive message? What's everybody getting on the same page with, one petition with a hashtag? I'm interested in your shirts. Today I'm sporting.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah.
Shalkek Nemron, which any hardcore Stargate fans in the audience will know that's the Free Jaffa motto. Where I die free.
Oh, we got to make our version of that shirt.
Yeah, if we're going down, we're going down with a fight. We're going to be loud.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we do have our Save the Gate shirts. I did wear one today. I don't even know if it's available. Is it, Brian?
I put it back up after the Dial the Gate stream we were on with David.
And part of the reason why
because
is
the chat was like, "Where's those shirts that I talked about before?" So I put it back up.
Well, I feel like we did save Stargate, all of us as a community.
Yeah,
right?
we accomplished the
what
goal.
We asked for, guys. We wanted more Stargate originally with Brad, right? Because he was the OG guy. But then we got it with Martin, and we're like, yes. Okay, and Brad's consulting, and Joe Malazzi's in the room. What's up? You know, so we were very excited. So we didn't need the Save the Gate shirts anymore.
It was saved,
yeah. The reason we took them down originally is because at first we thought the campaign didn't go anywhere. We didn't want to keep selling shirts for a petition that had no ability to be boosted anymore. And then we put them back up as a regular product when a bunch of people were asking on that one live stream. But now, looks like we might have to put those proceeds again to a new petition.
Right. So that's something I should have mentioned. So if you, with the Save the Gate shirts, all proceeds, anything we made from it went to boosting the marketing to get more Stargate. So for example, they're out there. There's a thing out there Darren's probably going to talk about flying a banner, kind of like they did with the Expanse when they were trying to get the Expanse back. So they're talking about doing something like that. There's different things that we can do for marketing to try to get more exposure to Saving the Gate. So all money, if you did buy something, would go towards that. So
I hope we can talk about that stuff as the show goes on. Do you want to just break down the news?
Yeah, let's just, if you can, Darren, tell us. Oh
my gosh, I clicked the wrong button.
You, David, and Jenny Stiven had a really great show on Thursday that everybody after you watch this should go watch to get some really great information. And if you could kind of break it down for us, it'd be great.
Yeah, that conversation was from Thursday morning, and you can we co-streamed it, so you can find it both on Dial the Gate and on GateWorld on YouTube with Jenny Stiven, who's a longtime friend of ours and a TV insider. She kind of knows people. She's got lots of contacts, lots of info, and she's worked on shows for her whole career. So the news is, right, if folks have been paying attention, they know that back in November, Amazon announced that they were going to do a new Stargate show. It wasn't going to be a reboot. It was going to be in canon. And they were bringing back a bunch of the OG creators to make a new show for Prime Video. Martin Giro was going to create the show. And then the original creator of Atlantis, SG-1 and Universe, Brad Wright, was a consulting producer. Joseph Malazzi was a consulting producer. And we found out eventually that Joe was also writing a script, one of the scripts for the first season.
Awesome.
And, we did a live stream with Martin in December, got some info. We did another live stream Q&A with him. And Joe popped up on that one in March. And that's when they announced, like, okay, this is a big deal. Amazon's giving us money. And they went and hired a production designer. They hired Nathan Crawley, who's an Oscar-winning visual production designer. He won an Oscar for Wicked. He's done a bunch of others. So he did a bunch of Christopher Nolan films.
Interstellar. Yep.
And Interstellar, Dark Knight. And then they also hired Mo and Leo as their visual effects supervisor. Mo and Leo works at ILM. That means ILM was going to do Stargate.
Oh my God.
Which was
Dream come
incredible,
true,
right?
yeah.
So best of the best for a couple of your first department hires, like industry leading for sci-fi fantasy. I was over the moon. I couldn't believe how lucky we were that of anything that they could have done with Stargate, they did this. They made such a good decision, continued the existing canon, and gave it to Martin, who knows it, who loves it. I met Martin on season 1 of Atlantis 22 years ago. And he's such an incredible writer and showrunner. Martin wrote probably most of your favorite Atlantis episodes. He wrote most of the mid-season 2-parters, the season premieres, the season finales. He wrote a bunch of the McKay episodes, like Duet, like McKay and Mrs. Miller. He wrote Sunday.
He cut his teeth on Stargate too. So that's the other thing is, like, when he came into this industry, he's from Canada. And he really, he did a small thing before Stargate, but this was like his entry. So the love that Martin has for Stargate is unmatched.
Yeah.
It's like bringing in him is like bringing in Brad in a lot of ways. So we couldn't have asked, like Darren said, we couldn't have asked for a better situation for Stargate to come back, in my opinion. So tell us, after that occurred, what kind of, I know in March we got the news and we were excited they were going to start casting. They were predicting maybe like filming could begin in the fall. And then a couple of months passed by. Can you kind of break it down? What do you think happened during that time frame?
Yeah, GateWorld actually reported. GateWorld broke the news that they were going to film in London.
That's right. Yeah, he was going to scout, I think, in the next few weeks, right?
So they were scouting. They were looking for a home base for production, soundstage base over there, and figure out, or if you're John over here, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd already purchased a dumpster that I was going to live in outside of the production facility.
Yes. I was actually in the process of divorcing my wife to go move in with John.
Wow.
Yeah, in the
To also
dumpster.
live in that dumpster.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just had to get my passport.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and Brian were going to live off craft service scraps for years.
We were going to sneak in and eat the scraps that all the actors left. That was the plan.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I have to stay married. So
It happens. Happens to the best of us. Yeah, so we were jazzed. We were expecting that maybe by the end of the summer we would get some casting news. They would start shooting in the fall. Maybe David and I would have a chance to go out there. Martin had floated the idea of us visiting the set while they were shooting. And then the long post-production process, right? The show was not going to premiere before end of 27, beginning of 28. And then what we've learned since this news broke on Tuesday is that there was studio executive turnover. So a couple of key executives inside Amazon MGM Studios had been working with Martin to develop this show. And sort of, Stargate's always been regarded as a crown jewel in MGM's crown. It's one of their most valuable IP. Back in the day when they were, selling DVDs and selling it into syndication and overseas, MGM was raking in money left and right from Stargate. I've heard it said from folks at MGM or connected with MGM back in the day that Stargate was their most valuable property.
Yeah.
Second to Bond.
Yeah. Wow. It's
their
interesting.
most valuable TV property.
Yeah. It's interesting kind of how their crown jewel has been treated over the last 15 years or so.
Not great.
It's not been, and as fans, it's been a wild, herky jerky ride for us as we've gotten, hopeful news, depressing news, green lights, not green lights, video games, green lights, not green lights. So many things have occurred over time that it's been this thing. So there was this worldwide sigh of when they're going to bring back a series with Martin and Brad Consulting. There was this worldwide, and now it feels like the weight has just been put back on. I mean, it's hard not to feel a little defeated,
right,
over the whole thing. And so, just to give you guys a little more background. So, Peter Friedlander came over from Netflix to Amazon as the number 2 back in September-October timeframe, and that was just before he greenlit the series, and which they came on your guys' show to announce it with Martin. Martin had already been working on Stargate for about 2 years, like pre-planning it. Getting ideas together, something that he wanted to do. And they pitched it with Nick, and I think Ken was the other guy. Kevin was the other.
Nick Pepper and Matt King were those guys at Amazon who'd been working with Martin to develop that show.
And they championed it, right, Darren? They championed it, helped him, bring it to Peter and get it greenlit originally, right?
They did. And that's kind of the unfortunate, it's not a secret. It's just how the business works. You've got to have people inside your studio who are pulling for you. Yeah. You got to have people who want your show on, who believe in it, and who are going to shepherd it all the way to the finish line. Ultimately, what happened with Stargate's cancellation is Nick and Matt left the studio early this year. So a few months after the green light, after the writer's room had started in January, those two guys left the studio, and Blair Fetter came on, who had worked with Peter Friedlander at Netflix. So he came on and was sort of that new mid-level, sort of lieutenant is the language that Deadline used. He's one of Peter Friedlander's lieutenants, who's basically in charge of the, his title is like world building and genre. So
which
all the sci-fi fantasy stuff that we know and love are under his purview now, right? In his portfolio.
Awesome.
And it looks like he's not a fan, because he looked at the show and said, this is not where we should spend our money, apparently.
So they and what's interesting about it, the excuse that they're using, and so just a little background on Blair Fetter. So Blair Fetter did work with Peter Friedlander for 13 years at Netflix. Came over. Netflix is not what you would call a fandom streaming service. They don't have, decades long fandoms associated with Netflix. Really, they're new content oriented. They're youth oriented, and so I understand why Blair might have this feeling about how content should be, divvied out. So I feel like he brought that over from Netflix with him. And when he took a look at everything that was going on, said, well, we don't really necessarily care about having, whatever the Stargate fandom isn't necessarily as important as it was before he came in. And so because he's had Peter's ear for all these years, I'm sure, explaining how things should go down, maybe that's why he made some changes, because like we were hearing the same kind of thing that, he wasn't a big fan of Stargate and, he wasn't convinced by Martin's vision. Do you think there's any other reason why that might have happened, or any other info you think?
Well, it's tough, of course, third hand to get inside of the head of a television executive, which is not a space I really want to live in. But what we're looking at doing, I think, is I think the odds are pretty slim that we could convince Amazon to change this decision. But I think it's a terrible business decision, and the person who made it has bosses, right? Peter Friedlander's his boss. Yep. Mike Hopkins is Peter's boss, head of MGM Studios Creative, and even if we can't convince by some sort of campaign, petitions, making noise, which I hope we'll talk about. Even if we can't convince them to reverse this decision, at least we can make noise. At least we can say, hey, Stargate fans are here. We're big. We're noisy. We see what you did. We're not okay with it.
Yeah, it reminds me of that 200, the episode 200, where I'm always forgetting the actor's name, but the little alien guy who created Wormhole X, he's in the SGC.
Oh yeah, Martin Lloyd,
and he's having a conversation. He's trying to get ideas for his movie, and then he gets a call, and it goes, well, some young executive just canceled the movie. and it's crazy because they had, just like in real life, they had already done all this work. They had already hired people. They already had writers. They were in active process of creating this. And then just one call and in his words, some young executive just canceled the movie. And it's just art imitating life right there, because they were poking fun at their own industry when they did that. Well, guess what? 15, 18 years later, that's still happening.
And it's because that's just the way it goes. It sucks, and we usually don't see it, right? Because we hear that shows are greenlit, and usually when they're greenlit and they're written and they're cast and they're filmed, most of the shows premiere. We actually get to see them. Maybe they'll get canceled before they're premiered. We've seen that, right? We've seen shows get burned off.
Yeah. They're called pilot offs, right? It's just the one pilot or whatever. And years later, you see it dropped online somewhere, like the Aquaman pilot from the CW, right?
And that's a pilot. They were writing all the episodes. We were doing an entire season. I think they were close to being finished, weren't they, Darren? With most of the scripts.
They were in the middle of writing scripts, right? So they spent 4 months in the writers' room, which is when they sort of beat out all the stories for, this is the number of episodes we have. This is the beginning, the middle, and the end. We want to hit these beats along the way. What stories can we tell to get us there? So they had sort of figured out, what are all the episodes? Who's going to write what? And then they beat out those episodes sort of scene by scene. And then the writers go away and write them. And I think that's where they were, is the writers were working on their scripts.
We're working on the scripts. Okay. So, by making noise, so you're right. So, Blair has made his decision and likely not going to change it, but that doesn't mean that we can't get to possibly Friedlander. And by making enough noise and letting him know, hey, listen, you made the wrong choice, because the Stargate fandom is a lot bigger than you guys realize. Right. One of the big problems is I don't think they realize quite how many fans there are. They treat us as this little niche community. This is a worldwide community with millions upon millions of fans of Stargate, who not only just fans of a series, but rabid, hungry fans of a series that have rewatched, all these seasons of Stargate over and over again. And now we are desperate, craving new stuff. Most of us are. The right stuff, as long as it's done right, which this does look like it's done. So My question to you is, it seems like idiocy that you don't say, wow, we've got all these millions of fans. Let's build a base. Okay, let's build the base of the show on that, and then open it up to broader new audiences and bring in those new audiences that we want to have. For most of us, it seems just like common sense that you would want the fandom to be on board for this. What do you think the thinking is by Amazon and other studios who do this? I mean, they did the same thing with Star Trek. They've done the same thing with Star Wars and Doctor Who. Why do you think they are so desperate to go after this younger audience that they just throw away the 4 billion 35-plus-year-olds we have on this planet? What do you think the thinking is, Darren, where that comes from?
Yeah, there's a lot of questions there, right? There's a question of fans versus casuals. There's the question of the older hardcore fans versus the sort of newer, younger audience. I think most of these ad agencies and studios hopefully know that those of us who are kind of the old hardcore Stargate fan base are now in maybe our 40s and 50s and 60s. We've got spending power.
Yes.
We've got discretionary income that your 22-year-old does not necessarily have. No shade to 22-year-olds.
Sorry, but Shane's 22-year-old uses his Prime account.
All my adult kids do.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
This is important to know. The Generation Z, these people aren't buying stuff, guys. They're still utilizing their parents' streaming passwords. Come on now.
And sometimes their parents' Prime credit card.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I got a load of master replicas stuff behind me. That's what I'm spending my money on. You know, that's what they're forgetting.
Darren, such a good point. Yeah, such a good point. Like we have the income and the time because we don't waste it as much. And why would you even want to go after a demographic that couldn't spend money on your platform?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think, if you're a decision maker, if you're one of these top level executives who is making the live or die decisions about shows, my first question is like, which audience are you chasing? Okay, so there's demographics, there's spending power, but how are you thinking about your fandom? And if I can oversimplify things for a minute, I think that if I'm a TV executive, I've got sort of one of two different attitudes towards fandom. One is, okay, our fan base for an existing property, right? This is an existing IP that's being revived after a couple decades.
Mm-hmm.
The core fan base is going to be vital to whatever this next thing is.
Right.
We got to start with the core fan base, make a show that has broader appeal, that's easy for new people to come on board without having seen all the old shows. Get to know the story, get to know new characters, love them. Maybe they're going to go back and watch SG-1 on Prime Video later, right? But it starts with the core fan base. That's where they were. That's what they were thinking was. And that's why I was, kind of saying, hey, let's give Amazon the benefit of the doubt. They hired Martin and Brad and Joe. Let's see what they can do. They seem to be leaving them alone and letting them make the show that they want to make.
But that's the correct thinking. I mean, I didn't start watching Doctor Who in 1963.
What?
I started watching. I know, John. I'm sorry. It's sacrilege, I know, to your people.
I'm getting a bit tired of you knocking British things
But I
time, mate. It's week in, week out. It really is.
Calm down, John. I started watching Doctor Who in 2012 or something.
5.
Whatever.
Yeah.
With the Welsh doctor. What was his name? I always forget.
Eccleston?
Yeah, Eccleston. Thank you.
He's not Welsh. He's Northern.
Listen, I don't know. I'm not from there, John. Anyways, I started watching with him, and I was hooked. Like hooked. I had seen some of the old stuff, but never really cared about it because honestly, it's a little campy, a little cringe.
It's a great example, Brian. It's a great example.
Completely uninterested in watching any of the old Doctor Who because it looked so like old and cringy and campy and didn't
Shut
work
up.
for me. But listen, then I started watching Eccleston. I'm serious. I was hooked. By the time you got to Tenet, I was like, I'm serious. I have to go back and watch all the Doctor Who's, even the ones that might not be good to me. I need to know the lore. And I fell in love with the character, the property, the IP.
Yeah, you want to recognize the Silurians when they come back.
Yes.
All
the companions and all the different aliens. But listen, it's a perfect example because I would have never have watched old Doctor Who had you not introduced a canon appropriate version of Doctor Who in 2005. I would have never gone back.
Because it was done well. Okay, it was done well, and it was done for new audiences. The same thing happened with TNG. Think of Star Trek in the 80s. Okay, they brought the Next Generation. It honored the Star Trek, the original series, right? But it brought in a new audience, a new thing, and it caught on. It did well. I don't know why we've gotten out of the habit of doing that. When Star Trek came back in the 2000 teens, Jason Isaac comes out and says, doesn't matter what old fans, you guys will show up anyways. Who cares? Screw the old fans, right? And that's been the attitude since, for whether it's Kathleen Kennedy at Star Wars, whether it's Star Trek. And it seems to almost be the same thing we're hearing now. We feel like this decision by Amazon is basically saying, you know what? Old Stargate fans don't matter. It doesn't matter. Right. We just want new faces, new bodies, and we want to capitalize on the IP.
By the way, same thing with Battlestar Galactica. I would have never have seen a single frame of Battlestar had you not came out with a good Battlestar when I was in my prime. And when it came out, and then I went back and watched all of the Battlestar. By the way, still don't like the old Battlestar, but I watched it. I watched it. You know what I mean? Like, I would not have watched it. I think I even bought the set, the DVD set, based on my love of the reboot. I'm like, I'm going to spend $60 on a show I've never seen before. I mean, there are so many good examples, but unfortunately, there's not a lot of modern examples of this, because often, instead of actually honoring the canon, honoring the story, and creating something that the original fans would like, they do try to go after a new audience. And I would argue Battlestar tried to go after a new audience a little bit. But because the writing was so superb, and the characters were so superb, it worked for everyone. Cobra Kai went after. They didn't go after a new audience. Cobra Kai went after the people that watched Karate Kid,
and it worked. And they brought a new audience,
and it worked. And they brought in new audiences. My kids love it. We watch it together. My kids would have never have seen the original Karate Kid had we not sat there and watched Cobra Kai together.
Yeah, because if it's good, that's going to bring in a new audience. It's gonna do exactly what you want, which is widen the audience. Shane's point is exactly what I was getting at, right? The two mindsets of an executive: one is, let's treat our fan base as the foundation. This is where we got to start, and then grow it from there. The other mindset is, the fans are going to show up. It'll say Stargate, whatever it is. If it's a reboot, if it has a big spinny ring in it, fans will show up and watch it anyway.
Jason Isaacs tried that. Didn't work.
Yeah.
Look what happened in Star Trek. Jason Isaacs said the fans would show up anyways. And now Star Trek doesn't even have anything going on. There's zero information.
This is what I just don't understand with it. It is short-term thinking, because you've already built the foundations with the legacy fans. So why would you then go, well, we're looking for this, and I'm going to say it, the mythical new modern audience that never seems to turn up every single time they hunt for it.
Right.
It's, you build from the base that you've got already. And again, from what the little tidbits I'd listened to on your show, Darren, with Martin and Co on there, it was like they were going to honor the existing show, but they weren't going to be tied to it. They weren't going to be locked into it. So someone coming in for the first time wasn't going to know what the hell was going on.
Right.
We're going to start here. We're going to move forward. But if you're a legacy fan, don't worry. We've got you covered. We've got stuff that you're going to really enjoy.
John, you're telling me that we're going to start off with the read-to right away and no explanation? Like a one-off villain or a resurrected Jack clone or whatever? No, of course not. It's a silly concept.
They were going to do the sequel to Emancipation. That was how they were going to start.
They're going to start with Emancipation. That was Emancipation 2.
But from the man's perspective this time.
That's problematic.
That's why it feels like this is an excuse. It feels like the answer they gave us is not the correct answer. It's not, because it's obvious that Martin had over and over again said his goal was to bring in new fans. He said it from the beginning when he announced it with you guys, and he's continued that messaging. The scripts, as we've heard, also reflected this thinking. So the people who've seen some of the scripts and have talked about it. So it seems to me like more this was a decision that Amazon wanted to go a different direction, which I know we've talked about.
Yeah.
You know, or there's a lack of faith in the science fiction fantasy genre altogether, which I know you guys talked about on Thursday a little bit. And I know Rings of Power have not been really successful. I know the Wheel of Time series was not very successful with Amazon. Do you think some of these shows are also what's playing in? Like Blair comes in and says, look, you know, these other fantasy shows aren't really working. Why are we going to spend all this money doing a Stargate when it's basically the same thing?
But
Do you
those
think
are
that could be part of the
fantasy.
thinking?
Those are fantasy. Those I know they lump sci-fi fantasy together,
It's all together.
but their science fiction properties have been very successful.
What on Amazon? Which ones?
I mean, The Expanse.
Right, but that's very specific genre related. That's more realistic science fiction, I would say, closer to.
I mean, that's a lot closer to Stargate than Wheel of Time.
Yeah, it's classic science fiction, and it's a great show, but it was so long ago. I mean, in television executive years, that was like 4 generations ago.
Yeah.
But I said on a show, I said on our show a few months ago, I said, look, if they play it right and it sounds like they have the chance to become the #1 sci-fi franchise in the current era, because Star Wars is being damaged, possibly beyond repair. Star Wars has as well. Doctor Who's in the dirt. If they played it right, they could be #1.
Yeah, this is their
and
opportunity.
they were doing everything right. They had, and do you know what I liked about it was the way it started out. It wasn't like all the other shows where you have a lot of it where the production team and actors come out and go, well, if you don't like it, go and touch grass. That's a Doctor Who example. But they were coming at, they actively went on your channel, Darren, and they went on Dial the Gate as a dual stream to basically announce that the Stargate was coming back. It was in production. They announced who was going to be involved, and they sat there in front of everybody and they said, do you know what? You're all welcome. You're all welcome on this journey. You know, whether you're a long time fan or whether you're jumping on for the first time, everybody's going to enjoy it. You're all going to be welcome. And that was a massive change from what we've had the last few years, where other shows were basically saying, we don't want you, to some people. They were saying it's for everybody. That's what's different.
And that wasn't done in a vacuum, John. And that's what people need to remember. It's not like Martin decided, you know what, I'm just going to jump on here and announce this thing. He had to go through his executives. It probably had to be signed off by Friedlander. It was coordinated. It was a plan. Amazon wanted this fan-based, foundation grown into new audiences. And so, I mean, I really feel like, you know, you have to place this at the feet of this new executive coming in and making these changes. And, you know, and when we fight for Stargate, when we go out there and put our voices, make them heard, sign our petitions, send our letters, send our tissue boxes, we need to keep in mind that that's what we're dealing with here. And so I think the idea of going over Feder to his boss is the right idea. At one point, he obviously felt like it was the right thing to do it this way. So perhaps he can still be convinced to do that. Darren, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's right. Mr. Feder's mind is not going to be changed. So I think we got to go to his bosses. We got to convince him this was just a bad decision, right? It doesn't have to be mean, doesn't have to be dirty. It's just this was a bad decision. Here's why. We're still here. This is why it's important that you not do long-term damage to your relationship with Stargate's fan base, because we're going to be important to one of your most important IP in the long term. Shane, you were talking about the kind of messaging that we were hearing early on, and I want to kind of clarify one thing. So there were 2 news reports early in the week. The news was broken by Variety, and then we followed it up at GateWorld and confirmed it. And then Deadline came out with some additional reporting that had more information about the executives and the turnover. There, in terms of a reason given, Amazon hasn't said anything publicly. There's no press release. There's no announcement. There's no explanation from the studio that's, you know, been vetted by the lawyers. So we have the reporting from the trades, and Variety's piece uses this language of Amazon was convinced that Martin's show was not going to be able to grow the audience beyond the core fan base. That's bull.
I have two
not the show
problems.
that they were
right. That is bullshit.
I have 2 problems with that. First off, the core fan base is already billions of people easily. Okay. At least the age range is easily. So you already have a massive amount of people in the core fan base. Number 1. Number 2, even if that were true, I mean, even if we didn't have a giant amount of people. Martin, Brad, Joe, and the people that they're hiring have already done this and proven themselves multiple times and their ability to build an audience, whether it be Stargate or Travelers or Dark Matter. Dude, we have done live streams and watch parties with hundreds of people for obscure stuff that these guys made one season of, okay? They're very, very good at it. Third, my biggest problem with this is like earlier, Shane, when we talked about sci-fi on Amazon, dude, they have so many, I just looked it up. They have so many successful science fiction shows right now on Amazon. You have Hail Mary that just came out. Science fiction.
It's a movie, but yeah, the different mentality.
Super, super successful.
True.
For shows, Outer Range, Tales from the Leap, Tales from the Loop, Upload. Upload was just insanely successful, and it's science fiction.
Cheap.
What's that?
Cheap to make.
I mean, dude, they have like 25 named people in the cast. I'm not sure if it's that cheap.
Upload? No, it's not. I mean, it's shot based. I mean, there's not a futuristic, otherworldly alien thing they have to do a lot with. Anyways, go ahead.
Oh, that's true. Okay, but then you also have The Boys, which is sci-fi adjacent at very least, and that's extraordinarily expensive.
For sure.
Which
That's
is
been tentpole for Prime. It's been tentpole show.
It's a tentpole,
and it's coming to an end.
And it's coming to an end. How about this one? Fallout. Fallout has been wildly successful, and they spent an insane amount of money on it. And it's pure science fiction, and it's based on original property. I don't get it.
But a game that's newer, and they felt like there was a newer, younger audience.
It's not that new. The first Fallout came out when Atlantis was still on the air. It's not that new.
Can I play devil's advocate here? Is this new guy that's come in? Has he looked at it and in his mindset he's going, "Well, I'm the new kid on the block.
We're gonna do things my way." That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But he's also going, okay, it's not been on air for 15 years, and therefore he's then going with the mindset of he thinks he needs to go forward with a new modern audience, and this was going to be more geared towards legacy.
Fallout is based on a video game that a lot less people played 15 years ago.
But I'm talking about the mindset of an exec.
It's the mindset of someone who's not doing the math. He's not doing the math.
And again, that the next point I was going to make was, but if you drill down into it, you drill down into how much it's watched, how much SG1 and Atlantis is probably watched on Amazon Prime as it is. You've now had it moved to Netflix, certainly in the UK, SG1. I don't know if that's Martin's idea for that, but it was a clever move because you've got people watching SG1 on Netflix as well. You've got data there that is telling you, hang on a minute, these shows that started, in 1997, people are watching them, and they might not have ever watched SG1 before, but they're watching it. So what does that tell you? If you're able to get people to watch something that started in 1997, that's a strong foundation to greenlight a new series.
And they become your brand.
The reasoning for it. Yeah,
they become your brand ambassadors from the new stuff to the old stuff. My kids, we would have watched. Me and my teenagers would have watched the new Stargate together. That would have onboarded them for old Star Trek. The same way, freaking Dancing Klingons onboarded them to Star Trek and Strange New Worlds, which I wasn't a fan of, but they sort of liked. Which is what?
Well, maybe that's the argument, then, Brian.
Yeah, that was part of the argument.
Problem. Go ahead.
Yeah. But guess what? There's no more Strange New Worlds because you couldn't hold on to that fan base without the brand ambassadors doing their job as cheering it on, promoting it, talking about it, live streams, all the stuff that we do on stuff we like. You can only get so much mileage out of hate. You can get a bunch of clicks for a couple weeks, and then guess what? That hate turns to apathy, and the TV show goes bye-bye really quick.
The viewers are on to the next thing. Right. Yeah. I'm a realist about this. I'm kind of approach this with a marketing head, like what's informing the decisions that they're making. And I mean, Brian, I think you're right. Like we don't need to be overly precious about our franchises and the things that we love. From their perspective, like if I can put on Starfleet Academy, even if a big part of the OG Stargate or Star Trek audience doesn't love it, doesn't feel like it fits with Star Star Trek that they love. Guess what? A bunch of people who watch Starfleet Academy are now going to go back and watch DS9, and that's got to be a net positive.
I don't think I don't think that's the case. I hear your argument, but here's my problem with it: is that the numbers prove it. Nielsen numbers always these new Star Trek shows do not play on Nielsen charts. They don't play on any of the social charts. They don't get any kind of real mileage or trackable numbers anywhere.
Why?
But in the meantime, you do Picard season 3, which was aimed at the original fan base.
Picard season 3 charted, didn't it?
And it charted. It charted well on every single chartable metric. It charted, and it ended up at 8th, I think. That's highest place on Nielsen out of like thousands of streaming shows. So the second you actually played to your fan base, all of a sudden, huge numbers.
Yeah,
that's
I'm not
insanity.
I'm not making the argument that some of the modern Star Trek shows are necessarily a good idea or were the best idea for what to do with that franchise next. But just the point that you were making, that it connects this generation with the previous generation, it gets new people in, not just watching the new thing, but watching the old stuff too.
Right. I think that's the disconnect, though. They're discounting the original fans' involvement in the onboarding process.
I just don't understand. Okay, let's focus on that for just 1 second, okay? Because this is the part that drives me insane about the whole process. I don't understand what reasonable mentality tells you that this is a wise decision. It's failed over and over and over again. So if anybody has any thoughts on this, I would love to hear. Darren, if you have any thoughts on it, why would someone make this decision? Is it because the executive wants to place his or her own brand on things? They want to make their own decisions? Is it they're afraid to take a risk? Is it they don't care whether or not the show is truly successful?
Right.
What could be the mentality for making this ultimate terrible decision by studios over and over and over again by leaving out original fans? What do you guys think?
I think you're right. I don't understand how you can keep making the same mistake. What's that old quote? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And every single studio that operates in television keeps trying to go after what John called it, the mythical audience. The audience that has the attention span of a sparrow, and they're barely paying attention. And the only ones that have been successful are the ones that operated within the idea that brand ambassadors are important, as in old fans. Netflix is a perfect example. The reason why Strange New Worlds was so successful and it gained a foundation in young people's minds was because older people that recognize the 80s and the nostalgia and Goonies and all the different elements and member berries that Stranger Things gave us, it recognized that, it enjoyed it, and it brought the younger base via not just literally bringing them to TV and saying, watch this with me, but organizing websites and subreddits and communities and doing videos and live streams. They created like this they promoted the entire thing for the next generation. And then after 5 seasons, it did find a root in young people like my teens who would have never have watched it without the old community brand ambassadors being there to watch it in the first place. Promoting it.
That's why they put an 80s spin on it. But
Right.
Darren, what do you think? What do you think the mentality is here? Why they would make these choices? What?
There's some of this, right? We're all doing Monday morning quarterbacking this week, and there's some speculation that, if I'm a new executive and I'm brought in, what I want to do to kind of make my mark and build my career is I'm not invested in a show that somebody else greenlit. So maybe he's motivated to, create his own shows and free up some budget to do that. That's entirely possible, but it's just speculative.
Right.
Jeremy Foucher in chat is making this point, right? Execs get blamed for a show that fails, that they didn't have any part in creating, but they don't get the praise because they weren't the one who greenlit it if it's successful. There might be some truth in that, but I think it's all kind of speculative.
So maybe they don't have the bottom line of Amazon it's just, listen, this guy has come from nothing. He made a real good name for himself on Netflix. He was considered one of the up and coming new executives. I think you're making a really good point here that this could be just he wants the shiny pennies on his coat going forward, and perhaps there's too much risk involved here, not knowing. And also Netflix,
I think it's possible. I think I don't want to, and you know, based on the information that I've gotten behind the scenes from our reporting, I can't confirm or deny that that's part of his mindset, but I think what we can say with some relative certainty is the guy does not seem to be a sci-fi fan, does not seem to understand fandoms and how important fandoms are to legacy IP like this. And then, right, if I'm a TV executive and I'm looking around at the landscape of current sci-fi, right, Brian, you might have been getting at this earlier.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the state of Star Trek. I'm looking at the state of Star Wars, which John mentioned. I'm looking at the state of Doctor Who these days. And I mean, if I'm looking at all that, like, how do I revive Stargate properly when it looks like even the fans don't like the stuff that's being put out?
You're right, Darren. And the thing that I would say, if I was an exec at that point, I'd say, why are all those IPs in the toilet? It's because they went for the new mythical audience and ignored the existing audience. If they'd stuck to it and built from there, they would be in a very strong position right now, but they didn't. And I think Stargate were doing it right. The production team were doing it right, where they were building from that legacy and we're going to take it forward.
I think it's worse than ignoring. Some of these shows actually actively, purposely offended and pushed down the original audience because to them, they feel as if they need to push the original audience down in order to lift a new audience up, which is just super short-sighted.
I'm going to give you an example. You know, Doctor Who, when Ncuti Gatwa came in, Ncuti Gatwa basically said, all of you gammons, to white middle-aged men in the UK, he said, all you gammons, just go and touch grass. And then Jinx Monsoon, who was in it, basically said, we don't need you. For every one viewer and fan that we've got, we'll make another 5,000 fans. What happened? The show got cancelled because Disney pulled out of the deal.
Show was canceled, and it was wildly expensive and a wild failure. They didn't make anything.
Or maybe we may also have this problem too. So you've got Blair Fetter coming over from Netflix, right? Who did work on Stranger Things. So he's never worked on an IP with a fan base that's decades old or that has a huge fan base. And in his mind, he might be thinking, well, look what we did with Stranger Things. Why? We built a new fan base from a new show. It's doable. So in his mind, he may think he has the answers and that they don't need to rely on original fans. Will show up and then they can build it like they did Stranger Things. The problem is that Stranger Things, had they taken that series from something that
they baked in all the 80s stuff, Indiana Jones and the Goonies. And
what I'm saying is, had they had to honor something that came before, right, that would have been a bigger challenge. You would have had to, okay, well, we need to honor that and bring in the new fans. He would have understood what we were looking at here, but started with a better foundation. So I do think part of it is probably, and like I said, we're guessing. Darren said we don't really know for sure, but just based on all the information we have, it seems like he's brought this Netflix mentality over, and Netflix is a streaming first platform, right? It's not a fan base first. It's how do we keep more eyeballs on here and do more things? And what do you think?
I mean,
Or John, go ahead.
I was just going to say, for me, and this is where I am with it really, you guys all know that I'm very reluctant when a reboot of something is announced now, because of what has happened to so many shows, that I'm at a stage in my life now where I'm like, I actually wince a bit when I hear something I love is going to be brought back, because I'm worried about what they're going to do to it. The exception to this was Stargate, because excuse me, I've loved Stargate, since it was first on. I adore it, but I was worried, about, I'd heard, there were always rumors, there might be a new Stargate series. But when I got that announcement you guys did on your show, Darren, where it was basically the Martin and co were basically saying that, legacy fans come along, I was punching the air and I was like, this is what I want. They're saying, come along for the journey. The trouble I've got now, and I'm going to be perfectly honest with this, there's a chance that Stargate could come back without Martin and co, and they could reboot it. And if they reboot it,
It's very
I won't
likely.
be watching it. Yeah, and I won't be watching it because, you know, it could be the best thing ever. But I don't want to chuck all of the lore and the wonderful stuff that those guys created since the beginning of SG1.
Yeah.
It's just do a new show with different stuff if that's your mindset. You know, it's
Yes.
I
Do a
don't-
new
I
show.
don't-
Yes.
Yeah, I don't understand the mindset of execs. And again, I don't work in that era, but to say we're going to cancel a show because potentially it wouldn't have got that mythical new audience. But what we're going to do is we're going to launch the show and we're going to reboot it for that mythical new audience. And we're expecting to get lots and lots of viewers out of it when you've effectively alienated a lot of legacy viewers. What you might as well just start with a whole new series and a whole new concept and a whole new show.
Yeah, don't even use the Stargate name.
Yeah.
Just create
That's
another show.
And here to John's point, okay, listen up, Rose. I'm gonna speak some
Getting
truth.
close now.
I'm gonna get close to the mic and speak some truth, because this is exactly right. If you come in and Stargate is still in development and you have got your opinions about how this should be done, you want to put your stamp on it, great. Make a decision. If that decision is reboot, I was in a position before they announced the new show, before they announced Martin, where I was willing to watch just about anything because I love the franchise.
Yeah.
If it's a brand new creative team, okay. Even if it's a creative team I don't have a lot of confidence in, I would have given it a shot. I would have checked it out. But now the decision's been made. The decision's been announced. Production has started. You've employed a bunch of people. And then you make the decision to pull the plug on it because you want to do something different with the franchise. That, to me, is the worst part of all this.
Mm-hmm.
That it's a cancellation, not a different decision at the 11th hour. It's a cancellation of something that had already been greenlit. And that does damage to your relationship with the audience.
Yeah.
That's not just saying core fans are going to show up whatever we give them. That's actively going after your core fans, harming them, punching them in the gut, and then telling them to come back and say thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never hated Amazon or felt any way toward Amazon. And then this week I'm like, now I feel disdain towards these executives. Same way I felt towards Alex Kurtzman and Kathleen Kennedy. And it's crazy how easy it is for you to offend me when you decide that what I love just doesn't matter.
Or that you don't matter, Brian.
Or I don't matter,
think
right.
That's part of the problem is we feel like we've had dirt kicked in our faces here. I mean, and listen, of all the fan bases to do it to, Stargate fans have suffered the most.
Right.
All the other IPs have been redone, even if it wasn't good or not. They've had their chance.
Yep.
Stargate hasn't even had its chance.
Yeah.
And you're going to bury us in the ashes of Rings of Power and Wheel of Time? Like, is that what's happening here? So, I mean, I hope that they eventually do something. They may choose to put us on a shelf for a while until something else comes along. But in the meantime, maybe what can we do? What can we do? We still want our voices to be heard. We don't want to give up. We fought for 15 years, guys. Why would we quit now? Right?
Darren fought for a lot longer.
Darren's been doing
we're not going to quit. Yeah.
Darren's been building this website since front page in Windows 98.
Right. So the fight has been on, and so we can't quit now. So let's talk about what can people do, and there's a lot of people doing it. I'm on X, Twitter, and there's a lot of people that are sending letters, sending emails. The talk is on. So Darren, can you talk a little bit about some of the strategies that we've been talking about to pull together as a fandom and to see how we can make our voices be heard in the best way possible?
Yeah, and that fan response, no surprise, has been even outpacing our ability to cover it. I've got stuff lined up to run at GateWorld that is now 3 days old just because there's been so much going on and we've been live streaming so much. But people are already doing stuff. There were multiple petitions popped up last week. There was a GoFundMe to raise money to fly a banner over the head of MGM Studios headquarters. There's, campaigns to send tissue boxes. I have to write the tissue box from Children of the Gods. Thanks, send more. That's been a Stargate fan campaign idea for many years. Fruit Loops for Window of Opportunity. All these different ideas are in the mix. and some people are running forward with them. There's 2 campaign sites that have launched just because fans were motivated to put it out there. So what we're going to do at GateWorld and Dial the Gate, kind of right, because we have been in the middle of this since the announcement. What I want to do is get some of these people together, some of the people who have made these sort of initial efforts, and just get everybody on the same page. Like, let's have a common message. Let's pick a single hashtag. Let's figure out which petition we want to kind of drive everybody toward. It's great to have all this out there, right? I think people should go nuts, but I think that they should be respectful when they're writing to Amazon. Be rational, right? You don't want an executive to pick up your letter or your email and say, "Oh, this is the fandom we're dealing with." Well, okay, we don't need to please these people. But if you're thoughtful about what you love, what you want, why you think this was a bad strategic decision for Amazon's business, and be positive about it, be constructive about it, I think that that's going to go a long way. So I'm going to throw GateWorld's weight behind everything. Kind of once we figure out what the common message is, we're gonna be behind everything and just kind of let people go nuts, because they already are.
Yeah, I've got a radical myself personally plan, okay, and it is using the ring system into the Amazon studio executive offices, and I'm walking up to the execs and I'm going to go, it's going to go one of 2 ways today, guys. You're either going to make the right decision or you're going to make the wrong decision.
Or I'm going to go to jail. I'm going to go to jail.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, I'm here to talk to Blair.
Yeah, and I get in there and it's like the SG-1 episode
where
where
like,
Seth
security
is sat on his throne. Seth is sat on his throne. He's got lots of women everywhere.
It's
exact signing things. Yeah.
What if Blair's an actual Gould?
Now that would be brilliant, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Listen, everything Darren says, right, and we're gonna be getting together with him along with those other people. And there's going to be, like, I think we talked yesterday about hashtag Save Stargate is probably makes the most sense for a hashtag.
That's what I like.
It's already trending a little bit. That's the one we should consolidate. That's the only one we should use. As an SEO guy, don't use 15 hashtags. Use one hashtag. Okay, one. And I think that should be hashtag Save Stargate. Sign all the petitions.
And right now, sign all the petitions. We're going to figure out where to kind of channel people to maximize impact. But right now, there's 4 petitions. Go sign them all. Yeah. Michael Shanks has been retweeting multiple petitions. So there's stuff you can do right now.
Yeah, ours almost at 60K. Everyone go get. We need. What do we need? I think it was someone like David or someone said. I forgot who it was, but they said we need. Maybe it was you, Darren. But 50K is good, but we need 10 times that amount to get anyone to notice us. Yeah,
we need a lot of signatures. If there's millions of fans out there,
we should have million signatures.
We need a million signatures, guys. So if you know somebody, and I know this is not the way the world works right now, but if you know a Stargate fan who might not be locked into YouTube fandom or Twitter fandom, X fandom, send this to them. Let's get those signatures from those people. It only takes about 2 minutes to sign one of these things. It's super easy. It doesn't cost you anything. So, spread the word, help us get the message out there so that we can do that. And at least let's do our best. We are very, we're old hats at this. We have a lot of experience. I mean, how many tweet storms did we go through for Stargate? Many. That Joe Malazzi, started up and that you guys pushed. We've done this before. So let's get Stargate, trending on all the social media sites. Let's keep the volume out there. And I know a lot of you want to give up right now. A lot of you want to say, screw it. I'm tired, but let me tell you,
it's always darkest before the dawn, mate.
It's always darkest before the dawn. Well said, John.
Yeah.
And this is where we need to make our last stand, guys.
And John lives in a ditch.
I live in a ditch.
I lives in a ditch.
I sold my home for loads of master replicas stuff.
Yeah.
So that's it. I've literally their new production facility. I've been sat out of there in my ditch for months.
You were getting ready to upgrade to the dumpster.
Exactly. Yeah. watching them to get it all together as I eat craft service while holding my death glider in my hand.
I gotta say, I'm jealous of your master replicas, man. I really want one. All right.
I love them.
Yeah, so get out there and go. Make sure you guys are following Darren on YouTube, on X, Twitter. Make sure you go and check out his website, gateworld.net. And just if you want to stay plugged in, just go around and subscribe to everybody. Make sure you're subscribed here if you're not already. And let's be one mind. We're going to be talking about this over the next several weeks moving forward as things go about, and we'll make sure we keep you updated. So is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
I think share content that is respectful and relevant to the fight. So
yeah, because we don't want to, the one thing Amazon, and you guys talked about this on the Thursday show, the one thing Amazon's going to ignore is threats. And as frustrated and angry as we are, and we're not saying you can't be frustrated and angry, but when communicating with them, they're not going to listen to threats. They're just going to ignore it. What they really want to hear, what may reach them is sharing why not only were you going to watch the show, but your non-Stargate fan was going to watch the show, your children were going to watch the show, how you were going to bring other people not already part of the fandom to watch the show. Maybe that would convince them that there's a bigger audience out there than they believe there is.
Yeah, this is important though. Sharing relevant and respectful content. The best thing you can do, sign the petition. Yes, make your calls and your emails. But I got to tell you, when it comes to marketing, especially on social media, and I'm a marketing guy, the best thing you can do is individually share anything you agree with in connection to this campaign. So don't share everything. Don't share the stuff that you think looks bad or doesn't make sense or disrespectful. Share the stuff that you think is good, that's respectful, and is actually working for this campaign. And share as much again. Share on every network. Retweet it, requote it, put whatever, put it on Reddit, put it everywhere. You cannot underestimate the power of websites like Reddit and Twitter. Maybe not Facebook so much, but these places is where a lot of news articles will pick up their news from. They will report on something that's trending on X and on Reddit. They will, and those reports turn to more trend. And that turns to more reports until it's so big that no one can ignore it anymore. And this has been done a few times, but in the age of the current version of Twitter, it's going to be actually easier to do because the platform is easier to get organic traffic on.
Can I also say something as well? And I want to ask you guys this: is it worth also just saying to people, look, if you like Stargate stuff, make sure you sign up and subscribe to YouTube channels that do Stargate stuff, because surely they're watching. If the views are going up on channels on YouTube, because I would suspect they're watching YouTube for interest in Stargate. I mean, you guys know more than I do on it.
Trending.
Yeah.
That's all
but
they care
if you
about.
can get it trending,
there's
on
all these
YouTube,
hidden tools that measure what topics and what specific social communities are popular at the time, that day, that hour, that week, whatever. And so if a bunch of if like 1,000 channels went live in one day, all talking about the same thing, that would 100% click that little score ticker over and show Stargate as being a trending topic on YouTube, for sure.
I think that there was a way to get larger creators, the million plus creators talking about this. That's what's going to get probably the most notice. When you start getting some of the larger media sites, let's say, it ended up on, some of the bigger trending, actual news sites, that might get the attention of Amazon.
Yeah. Our petition was on IGN, Kotaku, and Collider yesterday. So those are real news sites. They've been around for a long time. It's not Variety or Deadline, but those are still huge news sites owned by very large companies. So the fact that they're talking about this because Michael Shanks tweeted it out and all of a sudden the petition had an extra 20,000 signatures that same day. They're talking about that in connection to the news. And that's the thing about news, especially online, is everything's incestuous. They report on each other. if you can get the ball rolling, Joseph Malazzi said it so perfect years ago during the tweet storm. Once the deluge starts, then you can't stop it. And we just have to get that to a tipping point where they're reporting on each other. Once they're reporting on each other, it's
so
our job
Darren,
is done.
question for you. That's a really good point, Brian. Darren, question for you. I know that Michael Shanks has gotten actively involved. Do you know if it's possible to get some of the other OG, David Hewlett, some of the other OG players involved? Is there anybody who's actively looking into that? I know that Martin can only do so much. He's under NDA. Joe's under NDA.
Right.
What do you think there is for that support?
And Brad, as a consulting producer, is also under NDA, but you'll notice he tweeted about it. He tweeted his disappointment. That was a thunderclap for somebody who doesn't use Twitter anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
His handle is still his Traveler Show.
Yeah. Brad Traveler.
Yeah.
It's I think that the other cast and crew can be rallied at the right time for the right thing, right? Most of the Stargate actors who are active on social media don't want to necessarily put themselves out there for everything, particularly when it's negative, right? A show's been canceled and shame on you, Amazon, and fans have got to rally. But if the right people call them and say, okay, we're doing this, right? When Joe Malazzi was organizing or involved in organizing the tweet storms back in, 2019, I think.
Right.
Before Amazon bought the studio. Right. Folks like Joe can go to cast and crew and say, we're going to do a big push. Can you retweet this? And then that's when you'll start to see the Jewel States and the Joe Flanagans and maybe even Amanda come out.
Yeah. Amanda, I mean, she's a working director. That's the other question you got to ask yourself. How much do they want to put themselves on the line?
Yeah, these guys don't want to burn bridges.
They don't want to burn. Yeah, isn't like some of these people are actually actively working on Amazon funded stuff. So,
well, even Martin has an Amazon contract.
Right.
So, this isn't the end of Martin.
Yeah. We don't want to blow up their careers either. Like that's not. We can do this without hurting someone's livelihood. Okay.
No, I mean, we're being genuine here. We're just trying to this is the right path. I'm sorry, Amazon. I'm sorry if you guys are watching. This is the way to go. And listen, we're a bunch of longtime fans of a lot of franchises. We've seen it come and go. Right. I mean, I wish there was one of us that could be, in the room to say, look, you guys aren't thinking about this correctly. And so hopefully our joined voices can somehow get this message.
There were at least 5 of us in that room. But they were all superseded by a 42-year-old guy from Netflix.
44, but yes.
44. That's what drives me nuts. Bunch of seasoned creators actively working on a greenlit project were superseded by a dude younger than me from Netflix. Just showed up and decided.
Who's not a fan.
Who's not a fan. No. Guy just shows up out of nowhere and supersedes, what is it? Easily 60 years of creative experience. More creative experience than he's been alive. He just supersedes it in a weekend.
I'm gonna speak directly to this executive.
I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I understand it. It's so frustrating to see someone younger than me supersede Martin Garrell, Brad Wright, and Joe Malazzi. It's like
exactly. I'm going to speak directly to this executive, and it's this. Look, what you've done this week, to me personally. You've stopped me finding out what is happening with it. What happened to Atlantis? I wanted to know. Okay, I don't know that now. You've taken that off of the board. So let's meet up. Let's have a latte. Me and you will talk it out. We'll come to an agreement where Martin and Co come back in, and I'll do what I need to do to make.
John,
that happen.
Stop threatening people on YouTube. Okay,
I will. Yeah, I will
maybe
leave.
He's not threatening. Maybe he's offering some little.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's a bribe.
Favors.
There's a ditch outside the production facility. That's all I'm
see
saying.
where you're going here. Sexual favors. That's what I'm hearing. Listen, freaky naughties for the member section, bro.
Yeah, if I get Martin and Co back and a new Stargate series, and I have to do what I have to do.
Okay, all right. Let's stop there. Let's stop. This is a family show.
I'm sorry. Family show, my back.
Okay, listen. We've given you all the links. We've given you all the information. We're going to move on to the next topic, but please get out there and be part of the community and pay attention to Darren's Twitter, not just our Twitter. I know you love us. We're great. Awesome. But Darren is going to be attempting, and I'm so sorry, Darren, that you have to be the guy that organized this. I'm just realizing right now, Darren's like, God damn it. I wanted to have 1 weekend off. I get it, bro. But unfortunately, you're the only guy for the job. So pay attention to Darren's Twitter. He's going to be putting more information out. And we need to consolidate our efforts out there and push. This is probably our last chance to get proper canonical Stargate back on the silver screen. So please join us. And let us know what you guys think in the chat, in the comments. We are moving on.
Thank you for supporting this. Thank you for being a part of it. Stargate fans are amazing. I think we're going to make noise. I don't know if we're going to change anybody's mind, but we're going to make noise. We're going to go down swinging.
Amen to that.
I mean, I'm going to help organize people, just like David's traveling Europe right now. I can hardly get him to respond to me. But we're just going to kind of get everybody pointed in the same direction. And then I don't have any interest in running a campaign.
Darren's like, you have to cancel
go wild
this
and do what they want to do.
David's not even here.
Well, he was in France, right? Because they were showing off,
yeah.
the children of MacGyver were showing off their 1/1 scale Stargate replica at a convention in Metz, France. And Richard Dean Anderson was there and got his picture taken with the Stargate. And it was a big moment of celebration, right? That team's been building that Stargate for at least 15 years.
Yep.
Darren, with Brian, just to make you clear, and this came up last week, I live in the UK. Brian does tend to think that France and Paris are the same place.
Yeah, there's no difference to me.
We share the same currency.
Look, all I know is
we're
that
quite far away.
The that place is over the water to the east. That's all I know.
Yeah.
So when you say Paris and France, I just think, John, you live there, right?
yeah. You just think I just skip across the channel.
Okay, we're gonna talk about match. We're gonna talk about matches of the universe next, but first, I got super chat from Latino Slant. What's up, Paulie, my brother from another mother? For Darnayas at 9, he says, "Truth is, most VPs that can green light don't care." Yeah, I guess that's probably true. Yeah, once you get that kind of power, you probably don't care anymore, right?
And just to note, Paulie is going to be on the show next week, so he's our special guest next week on the show, and he have a lot of really wonderful things to talk about.
Yes,
so
and that show is going to be entirely in Espanol. Yeah.
What?
That's me stuff.
Well, because I'll tell you why. We're trying to get another audience. So what we're going to do is we're going to abandon our English-speaking audience,
yes,
and go solely for a Spanish-speaking one. And you know what? The English people, they'll come around regardless because they always watch.
Nobody's interested in English language content anymore.
That's right. Solamente Viva Mexico.
So, I'm sorry. It's a perfect example. Like when you make a Gazoomer show that has no connection or anything, and actively affects and damages the original canon of something of a property or franchise you love, what you're doing is you're essentially speaking a different language and expecting the people that speak the original language to show up and watch your new language. It makes no sense. All right.
Well said.
Anyways, yes, Paulie will be here next week.
Yes, he'll be here next week. And thank you so much for the super chat. Listen, if you guys have any questions for Darren, now's a good time to put him in before we do the next segment.
There was a question up here, actually. I was
Is
about to
there
get to
another
it. Yeah, there's one. It was highlighted. I thought you highlighted it, man.
If I did, it was an accident.
Look, you've been doing YouTube for a long time on like 12 channels, and I don't understand why some chat messages are highlighted. I'm not talking about the ones that are super chats. Some regular chat messages for seemingly no reason, okay, are just highlighted. Like this one. If you see it on the screen,
I think the wrenches can do it.
Is it the wrench that did that?
Probably. Right. I'm guessing. I don't see the highlighted thing.
10 years, a dozen channels, still haven't figured it out. Anyways, first from Tron Raptors, it says, "So may I ask a question? Are Amazon saying it looked like a similar thing to Starfleet Academy, or is it that it's going to be like SG-1 and Atlantis and stay true to it?"
I'm sorry. One more time. I didn't quite understand.
I'm just reading verbatim what he said, bro.
Well, obviously what they want to do is they want to, what it seems like, if they want to do something, and I'm not 100% convinced that this just isn't an attempt to put Stargate on a shelf by Feder. There's a part of me that feels that way. But let's say they didn't like this strategy, and the strategy was, let's go find a new audience. Yes, essentially what they're saying is they want, Stargate Academy or something like that, where a brave new bunch of young Stargate, people from the SGC go out into worlds with their Stargate Academy and explore new. I mean, I don't know, whatever.
I can picture it now. You're under attack from Jafar in this reboot on the Stargate Academy, and as all the shots are coming in, they're talking to each other and go, "But how do you feel? How do you feel about yourself? Are you okay? How are you? I haven't spoken to you. I haven't connected to you for a while. Yeah, mate, we're getting shot at. Let's go.
Yeah,
No. But how do you feel?
Again, in that episode, in the episode 200, with the new Zoomer cast, they had this amazing scene that at the time I thought it was funny, but I didn't see how unbelievably true it was. And when it goes from the new young Tilk, where he's like, "Yo, Wonder Bread," and it goes down to the planet, and it shows Vala hanging out with Jackson, the new kid versions, and Jackson goes, "I don't think Mitchell likes me," and Vala's like, "I'm pregnant." It was really funny at the time because it was so written. To me, it was random. But then years later, I'm watching Star Trek Discovery, where that exact thing, almost verbatim, plays out on screen. And I'm like, oh my God, these guys, they predicted what the executives would want. It's Brad Wright and Joe Malazzi they're brilliant writers.
That's what scares me about a reboot of Stargate without Martin and co involved, because it will be like Star Trek, where you're like, they would take some of the tech, some of the ships, and you'd think it feels the same, but there's something terribly wrong about it.
Yeah,
it's
like the ship has pronouns and wants to talk about its feelings in the middle of a firefight. Which, by the way, not a joke. That actually happened on Star Trek Discovery. So
yeah.
So there's a couple of good comments here that I think we didn't address, and Darren would probably be good to address this. And this is from J.O. in Full. What about fan funding the project and making fan producers invest more and get more royalties? And also Sunflower 8587. How about crowdfunding? I donate. There's an IP issue, right, Darren?
Yeah,
Amazon owns it.
This is worth saying, right? A lot of the early reactions to this are Amazon is not responsible with Stargate. They should sell it. Somebody else should come and buy it. Or, Joe Flanagan back in 2010 when MGM went bankrupt, floated the idea of getting a bunch of investors together and leasing the franchise license for a decade. MGM said no to that. It's like, to be realistic with everybody, Amazon really does still value Stargate as an IP, so they're not going to sell it. They're not going to license it.
Yeah.
And fans can make fan films all day long. That's great. I would love to see more Stargate fan film productions, but you gotta still navigate those licensing issues with the studio, because the studio can shut you down. And if they're going to work on a new Stargate project, and they're worried about market confusion, this is the best way to get yourself a cease and desist letter, is if they're doing something else or they've licensed like a video game and they're worried about market confusion. That's when they'll send a cease and desist.
Yep. Our Voyager documentary, which is going on like a couple million views, I think, right, Shane? I forgot.
Might be 3 million.
Might be 3 million views. Anyways, it got really popular, and I think it's at almost 3 million views. And the guy who had made the Deep Space Nine and other documentaries,
a bunch of them,
whatever. He had done a bunch of crowdfunding, $8 million in crowdfunding for a Voyager documentary, and we came out with a Voyager documentary without any crowdfunding. We just made a Voyager documentary. We didn't go to Kickstarter or whatever, Indiegogo.
That's how we roll.
We just made one and put it on YouTube for free. For no money, okay? Anyways, it was so popular that guy tried to get Paramount to do the market confusion cease and desist against our video, so that it wouldn't affect his, I'm assuming, wouldn't affect his whatever he was doing on crowdfunding. And Paramount was like, no. Because we weren't actually breaking any rules, you know? Because we did follow the guidelines. We weren't actively stealing their property and just showing it on screen. So you can make fan stuff. You should. Our entire existence on YouTube is making fan stuff. 100% make fan stuff. But don't just like upload scenes, upload episodes or whatever from the show. Like, respect the property. You'll get shut down really quick. And if you make fan films, don't use the logos, don't use their music, make your own stuff. You can operate inside that universe, but don't use any of their trademark material. That's how you make fan films.
Yeah, and it's worth saying that's great advice. And it's worth saying also, I'm pretty sure the word Stargate is not trademarked.
No, it's not.
Because it's right. Stargate has been used for other kinds of products. If you look up the IP trademark records, there's all kinds of different things that different companies
a lot of Stargates
have trademarked Stargate for. So I think just using the name is. I mean, I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice, but
no.
The government has used the Stargate.
Yes,
name.
Stargate
SG-1 is.
But
trademarked.
Stargate SG-1 is trademarked.
Stargate as a television series about people traveling through a gate.
Stargate Atlantis is trademarked. Stargate Universe, trademarked. Yeah, but the word Stargate's not. So you want to make, let's say you and your buddies are doing an off-site thing, Stargate K2025 beta site. Like, whatever. Like, call it your own thing. Like, make it yours. Don't use their trademark music, trademark logos, or trademark portal graphics. Make your own stuff, and you're good. I guess we're in the time right now where fan
not
films...
legal advice.
It's not legal advice. But we're in the time where fan films have got to be so much easier. There was a time where we made films, short films, and funny skits and stuff like that, and you had to know After Effects and Premiere and Vegas and Cubase and all this stuff, and now people are like, hey, ChatGPT, make me a video about a Stargate. And you sort of string together your narrative or whatever. Yeah, you make Stargate trademarked. All right.
Stargate trademarked.
Stargate 1.
Stargate.
That's good.
1. All right.
I was going to ask you, Darren, are you guys planning to do like a second you, David, and Jenny stream again? Is that coming to be down the road, or as updates come in, do you guys plan to do it again?
As we get more information and there's more stuff that's worth talking about, I'm sure that we'll do more State of the Gates. Those usually live on Dial the Gate. People want to follow Dial the Gate on YouTube. I just got a row of texts from Jenny, so there's conversations that are happening.
Oh, good.
Hey, so this
there'll
is
be
a
more
perfect,
stuff to talk about for sure.
perfect example.
Yeah, good.
Raj Luthra, thank you for that comment. He put hashtag we want Stargate, hashtag bring back Stargate, hashtag save Stargate, hashtag. Listen, when you guys put posts on the internet, I'm telling you, like this is what I do here. When you put posts on social networks, any social site, anything, anywhere on the internet, use one hashtag. Because they use a scoring system called Boolean, and what happens is every hashtag you add into that minimizes the score of the other hashtags. So if we all use one hashtag, if right now every single person posting about Stargate used one hashtag, it'd be trending in an hour.
Save Stargate 1.
Save hashtag save Stargate. Just use that one. Let's just lock that in. Hashtag save Stargate. That's
It's
the one
simple.
we use.
Yeah. Does what it needs to do.
All right, guys. Okay, so there it is. Thank you, Lord Toth. Okay, so we're talking about He-Man, Masters of the Universe. One thing that bothered me about the movie is that I thought we were going to get that bit where the camera pans up on his desk and it has his pronouns and it says he/man. But instead,
he/him.
I know, but I thought they're going to go with he/man because sometimes the pronouns will show like man instead of him. It would have been so much funnier if it was he/man. I'm just saying.
Can I ask a question about it? Because I haven't seen it yet. But did they do like the 80s cartoons where there's a moral at the end of the movie where he stands there and he goes, "Hey kids, don't do drugs."
They actually did. And
did they?
Minor spoiler, and they did. And I don't want to spoil
As like a
it for
post
everybody.
credits.
I did go see.
Cool.
I did go see it yesterday. Yeah, no, Thursday. I saw it on Thursday, and we won't spoil it for you, but that is one of the cool things about that movie. I love that moment.
I was watching the cartoons back my set like last week, and it's funny, like those moral ones, and it's like one of them is like Man at Arms is doing it, and he's like, "Hey kids, just remember, if you see a white van outside your school, don't go near it. Tell someone in authority. Until next time, take care." You're like, I want to see those come back. I really do.
Did they turn that into a joke, Shane?
No, it wasn't a joke. It was actually a moral for the movie.
Really?
Which it wasn't a joke. It was kind of an end credit scene right before the credits rolled. But let me ask you guys before we get into it, how many of you actually watched Masters of the Universe and He-Man when you were kids?
Yes, I did.
Right?
Skeletor.
And how many of you were fans of it?
Maybe a little bit.
I remember. Yeah, it had its huge breakout moment when I was in like second grade. So I was the audience for it.
Yeah.
I don't remember owning many figures, but I watched it every day after school.
Dude, my parents would not get me the figures because they were all naked. I remember our dad saying, "We can't get them He-Man figures. They're just a bunch of nude people,
The big barrel-chested men.
bunch of nude people. Why would we? We're just opening up trouble there, buddy."
There's that Family Guy skit where Stewie's on the floor in the lounge and he's playing with Lion-O from Thundercats and He-Man, and they both got pecs and they got hardly anything on.
Right.
And they're fighting like that, and then he looks at the camera and he goes, "Yeah, your gay son is all on you, parents."
Yeah, I mean, you got a good point. Like that show definitely had. Like, if you were thinking the wrong way, it had like a sort of a homoerotic tone to it because a bunch of like, mostly naked dudes walking around in loincloths.
So hold on to
that. Yeah, so hold on to that thought, because what you said is really important. So you said homoerotic. Okay, so let's just little context here. I was 10 years old when Masters of the Universe came out, and I guess between all of us, we were the target demographic, and I watched it. I enjoyed it. Of course, if you know, He-Man was created to sell toys. The cartoon didn't exist on its own. It was like Mattel was like trying to sell this toy, and so they did that with a lot of properties back in the time.
Yeah, Star Wars, the prequels, anyone? You guys better
and other ones. So now, all these years later, we've had other iterations of Masters of the Universe. We had the '80s movie, which I don't think it's a big spoiler.
That was with Dolph, right?
Dolph Lundgren does have a cameo in this movie.
Can I say, I didn't mind that movie.
Most of us didn't.
I like it. I like it.
Campy.
I
saw it back in the day.
I mean, it's campy, but I saw it. I mean, it hit the spot that I needed back then. It wouldn't hold up today, but back then, like in the early 90s, I probably loved it, actually.
Well, the 80s movies is so bizarre because you've got Courtney Cox, who's basically leaving town because her parents have died in a plane crash. But she's decided, let's move town because I want to get it away from it all. So what I'm going to do, because I can't handle the emotion of it all, I'm going to go to the prom with my boyfriend who still wants to be with me. Then I'm going to leave town. Wouldn't you just leave town? It's weird thing, a narrative for the movie.
Courtney Cox was in that movie?
The movie has problems.
Yeah.
But so does most of what they've done with Masters of the Universe since then. So there's been a strong desire to create more content for He-Man, but they've had trouble, right? So we ended up with the Kevin Smith animated series, right, a few years ago,
which went after the mythical audience, John.
And didn't quite hit with original fans. And so then some time passed, and now we have this 2026 Masters of the Universe, which I would argue has been strongly marketed, strongly targeting not only original fan bases but also children. It would be getting the kids to come in because of course they say He-Man and Masters of the Universe is going to get all audiences, right?
Yeah, my nephew, I was showing the trailer to my wife yesterday because it was like our pseudo anniversary, And she was asking, "Do you want to go to the movies?" And I'm like, "No, there's nothing good on." And she's like, "Well, I heard there was another movie out." I'm like, "Let me show you the trailer for the movie you're referring to right now, Christina." and I play it for her. She goes, "Oh, I don't want to watch that."
That's not her target.
But my nephew's behind her. She goes, "I do."
Right. So, so Masters of the Universe has come out, and it's not done bad. I think the Rotten Tomato score is somewhere in the 60s. It's got a little bit higher fan score, but there is a divided audience for this. So, what they came out and decided they wanted to do was they wanted to, they wanted to do the thing where they take it they're serious, but also it's a comedy, right? So they kind of went down the Thor: Love and Thunder route, I think, a little bit with this.
Well, I mean, like, that's not. I keep saying. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to push back on what you just said, but I keep seeing people compare Supergirl to Guardians of the Galaxy, Masters of the Universe to Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, that's because they're being. Well, I wouldn't say Masters of the Universe, Guardians. Okay, so the humor in this is not Guardians of the Galaxy humor, I would say.
Okay,
there is a little bit of Marvel did start this thing. Okay, but I'm saying this movie is. It kind of has a tonal issue where it doesn't know whether or not to take itself seriously. Kind of starts out serious, and then it wants to be kind of slapstick comedy-ish, and it kind of finds itself in this weird place where the reason why a lot of people didn't like that Thor movie was because they felt like it was a little bit trying to be too funny, right?
Yeah,
right.
So they have the same problem, I think, with this movie. So some of the people who are criticizing it are saying that, well, it's not taking the original source material seriously, and it's also spending a lot of time laughing at itself. What I would say is this movie was made like, let's say a 17-year-old was watching He-Man Masters of the Universe and decided they were going to make a movie about it. That's about what this movie is. So it spends a lot of time kind of laughing at itself, taking advantage of the memes that we've seen over time. We actually had a huge kind of blow up on X. I put out a review after I watched it, and I basically came out and said, look, so to be clear, Masters of the Universe is not a movie you want to take your kids to, because they have a lot of very inappropriate things in it, like fisting jokes, several of them, 6 to 10 fisting jokes, because you got Fisto in there, right? The character who's the giant fist. So they're making these kind of fisting jokes. And then you have Ram Man, who likes to hit people with his head. So there's some give him head jokes, right? And then Tila throws the P word at Cringer at one point.
By the way, guys, we're not pearl clutching people where these words offend us. Shane's referring to taking your children to see it.
Right.
It's way different.
I like I said, this was marketed at taking my kids. I asked my kids, "You want to go see it?" It is PG-13, to be clear. So I did take my 13-year-old kid to see it, but let me tell you something. I don't want to sit through these jokes with my 13-year-old kid.
Yeah,
and I don't think these are PG-13.
Yeah. They write these kind of jokes, I think, because they think, okay, the parents are going to laugh. They're going to think it's funny, and it's going to go over the heads of the kids. I have a 13-year-old. I think those jokes do not go over the heads of kids anymore.
Not anymore. No, I think Darren's right. They used to go over the head, but now the kids are way educated. They know what these things are. And I don't want to sit there and watch anything with my kids talking about any sexual act whatsoever. And when they're 18 and 19, I still don't want to watch movies with my daughters when they're referring to sexual acts. It's weird. I don't know why we always have to do this.
So this movie was made for 40-year-old dudes, honestly. Right. This was made for 40-year-old guys. But because the studio wants the kids, they've kind of targeted in. So I'm just warning everybody. It's not saying you shouldn't go see this movie. Not saying you won't enjoy it. What I'm saying is I wouldn't take your kids unless you're prepared to have to explain to them what fisting is and why Tila called, Cringer the P word, and then He-Man cleans it up. Oh, you mean pussycat? So it's like, okay. It was a lot. Trust me when I tell you.
So I did sneak in and watch like the first half of this before my wife. My wife was like, "I gotta go. I can't do this anymore." Okay, like
she actually left. Wait, she walked out of it?
No. We went to go watch Obsession. She wanted to see Obsession, so I had seen Obsession. She had not seen it. Right? I knew she would like it because Obsession was so good. And afterwards, I'm like, "Hey, the Masters of the Universe just started. We're already right here. Like, we can just pop in real quick." By the way, there was no one in that theater. Okay, there was like 2 guys in the very back, and they were on their phones and very loudly
Friday
on their
night?
phones. Yeah, on Friday night. It was dead, bro. And we watched half of it, and at some point, my wife goes, "Look, I gotta go. It's not. this is, I can't. You want to get an Uber or something?
Yeah.
Like, give me the keys.
Not like the marriage is on the line, but like I can't do this anymore.
I can't. The movie is not for my wife. Okay, she's 100%. She was like, I gotta go. So I wasn't able to finish it. I plan to watch it and pay money to watch it. For all the people out there freaking out right now, I'm gonna go pay money to watch it, and I pay a membership fee. Look, I could have gotten the ticket for free anyways. I would have to go back out and get tickets, the whole thing. Anyways, I do want to watch it because I do think it was made for me, but I'm not going to take my wife or my kids.
Yeah. Well, and so this movie, to get back, and I'm sorry, this is kind of a long-winded way to get back to it. So this movie, if you were a fan of it when you were a kid and you don't mind it making fun of itself, then you're probably going to enjoy this movie. I will say that Skeletor's great. Jared Leto did a fantastic voice, and Skeletor is exactly the kind of character you would expect to have. All of the casting's pretty darn good. They all kind of become their characters. I would say that the parts on decided to go that route. I know they wanted to do the fish out of water thing because that's very, very successful in a lot of movies, but I don't think it was necessary to tie the two together, and it was kind of boring, actually.
Can I ask
Can I tell you my theory?
Real
I
quick.
tell you my theory?
Real quick, John, then you can go. Can I ask you about that? Because I wasn't able to get to all of it. When did the action start?
Right away. So it actually starts out on Eternia, and Skeletor attacks.
Yeah, so I saw that part, but then I left, and he's like on Earth.
Okay, well, Man-at-Arms does get into a really great fight scene at the beginning when he's trying to protect Prince Adam.
I guess I missed that. I guess because I got there a little bit late and I didn't get to see this. I'm sitting there. I'm like, where is all the fighting? I was there for like 35 minutes and no one picked up a sword, bro.
So, go ahead, John.
I was just going to say, my theory is the reason that they've got him on Earth is because they're thinking about sequels and they're trying to tie in with She-Ra at some point. Because She-Ra, if you don't remember, she was taken by Hordak, I think, from memory. So she's gone, and I think there was always a case of trying to, maybe hide the kids to save them from being taken.
Okay.
So I
John?
think it's going to be something like that. Yeah.
Hold on to that thought. Hold it close to your heart and go watch the movie. Okay. Because I don't want to give anything away, but you're onto something, John. Okay. And also let me just
Damn, I'm good.
And I'm impressed, John. That is way more lore than I remember.
Dude, I don't even remember most of those names.
Whoa,
you were saying words I don't recognize, bro.
So they do go back to Earth, and I know that there's a kind of you get this introduction to Nicholas Galitzine, who plays He-Man, and I wasn't familiar with this actor. He was in Sheep Detectives, which I recognized. Like, that's the dude from the Masters of the Universe trailers. He's in Sheep Detectives, right?
By the way, Sheep Detective was an incredible movie.
I loved it.
Incredible movie. I was blown away. I was dragged there, and I was so bored. I thought I was gonna be bored, and I'm like, nah, it's a heartwarming, really, really nice movie, dude.
Yeah, and Nicholas Galitzine is he's not a bad He-Man. He spends most of the money, or most of the movie, being Prince Adam, frankly speaking.
Right. That's what I saw.
And you guys remember Prince Adam was kind of cowardly, goofy, and then when he became
pink top,
right?
But still, for some reason, mega jacked.
Mega Jack, right?
Just wearing a shirt.
Yeah, they're trying to hide his gigantic muscles in like a salmon pink shirt. Guys,
Darren is right. Darren is 100% right, and it adds to something I've always thought as a kid. Ever since I was a kid, I was like, how the hell does Skeletor have pecs? He's a skeleton. Even as a kid, I'd sit there and I'd be like, and this is why maybe people thought that John's a bit odd as a kid.
Yeah, is he a
he's like,
skeleton
"What?"
or is he a man? Is he a skeleton? Is he a skeletor?
Yeah.
You know what they should have done with
Magic? Okay, proceed.
What they should have done with He-Man is they should have gone the Captain America route, where when he was the Prince, he was like a little weakling guy, and when he was He-Man, he was big old buff and jacked. That would have been cool.
That's what. Well, yeah, but from the cartoon, Prince Adam was jacked.
I
This is
know.
always the
But I know. It doesn't make any sense though.
I know it doesn't, but that's part of
it's
the
like
humor.
it's like, oh, hang on a minute, Adam's disappeared, but He-Man's turned up, who's got exactly the same haircut, is roided up exactly the same of him. The only thing that's gone is his pink shirt, and he's put furry pants on. That's the difference.
Well,
It's the
Man,
same
Wasn't a secret
person.
identity thing on the show though. I mean, here we are, grown men nitpicking a 1980s cartoon.
That's true.
It wasn't a secret identity thing, was it?
it was supposed to be a secret.
Yeah, it was
identity.
supposed to be.
Where's Prince Adam gone?
Only
Oh no!
Man at
Where did
Arms-
Prince Adam go?
Only two
If
people
I
knew.
remember, Man at Arms and Sorceress knew, didn't they?
Those are
That
the
was
only
it.
two that knew that he was actually He-Man. And what's
No,
funny?
no.
is-
Listen, everyone knew.
I know, but that's okay. So listen, not to do a big spoiler on you guys, but they do have that moment in the movie.
Everyone knows.
So some of the kind of cool stuff about the movie is some of the things where they do self-recognize, and some of the things from the cartoons. I don't want to spoil it for you because it is fun to watch some of that. Some of the issues of the movie, though, is that Nicholas pretty much stays Prince Adam the whole movie. So even though he does become He-Man in some moments, he's still Prince Adam. And one of the things is that when He-Man, when he made the transformation, there was a transformation, even though the guy looked the same. The attitude and things. So I feel like they kind of made a mistake there. Another mistake was casting Alison Brie, who I absolutely love.
I love
as an
Alison
actress.
Brie.
She's one of the main reasons I want to watch this movie.
I love her
Evil
so
Lynn?
much, but she is not a good Evil Lynn.
No,
Really?
I was so struck. It was actually a little bit cringy, to be honest with you. I was so disappointed that she didn't pull off that character, and it might just be not a great casting. Maybe it was the direction that
My
Travis
bad, right?
Knight.
She is such a fun
her.
actor, bro. I love her and everything she does. I even watch the romance stuff that I shouldn't like, and I like it because she's in it.
because
Meg
she's
Foster
fantastic.
was great in the 80s movie, who played Evelyn.
Yeah,
in the
Evelyn-
80s movie
Evelyn
was fantastic
needed to
with the
be-
blue eyes.
There needed to be a more gravitas type of acting, a little more evilish. But the
less
thing
charming.
is that when you were talking about the sexual thing, they went all in on that in this movie. Like the whole like Evelyn kind of gets off on being choked by Skeletor a little bit, and Skeletor is constantly making jokes about He-Man's like obviously digging He-Man's body.
That's
You know what I mean?
that's so Alison Brie.
Talking
Like,
about
that's
it,
an
like-
Alison Brie joke right there. Okay.
Well, yeah, talking about his giant sword hanging between his thighs.
Have you ever seen any of the community behind the scenes stuff? Like all the bloopers were because Alison Brie would turn everything into a dirty joke. Everything.
Yeah,
And
But
some of the
Evil
stuff
Lynn
they
would
kept
have
in the
done it.
show.
You just
Evil
made
Lynn, I
me-
don't think would have done that, and I thought that was a little
Maybe.
bit took me out of it a little bit.
You've just made me think about the morals at the end of the cartoons now in the 80s. And I've just thought of another thing. And it's like when He-Man stood there like that with his arms, like all roided up. And he goes, remember, kids, don't do drugs until next week. See you then. And you're like, yeah, you hypocrite. You're roided up to the max.
Was it don't do drugs, comma, space until next week? Or was it don't do drugs until next week?
yeah,
Was there a comma in there or not? I'm confused.
yeah. Is he's injecting steroids into his
It's
chest?
like,
while he's
remember,
telling you?"
kids,
Yeah.
don't do drugs until next week.
Monkey Jeebus makes a good point here. Marina Baccarin plays the sorceress. She did a great job.
She's in this movie?
She's in this movie as well. I mean, it's a good casting. Idris Elba was a good Man-at-Arms. I'm not a huge fan of the broken man, narrative that a lot of these movies have. And some people are going to call this woke just because the men do go through a period of being very broken. and I don't want to say too much about it to ruin it for you guys, but I do not like the state of Man-at-Arms through a good portion of this movie. But I love Idris Elba as an actor, and I do think he did a great job as that character. Yeah, so the casting's good. It's a little slow in a few parts. So I did find myself checking my watch, which you should not do in a movie like this, which is not good. But the fight scenes were fantastic. The ultimate fight scene between He-Man and Skeletor was I would say perfect. Like exactly how you would show He-Man and Skeletor fighting. And I don't want to say too much about it because I think you need to experience that moment. And overall, I didn't love this movie, but I didn't hate it. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. And I do think it's worth watching. I don't know if I'll watch it again per se, but I do think if you're a fan of the original show, there are things about it you might like.
That's for me. That's what I want to hear. That's enough to get me to watch the movie. That's a good review. I just don't want it to be awful. I don't want it to be embarrassing.
Yeah,
but to Brian's experience earlier, like I know this is going straight into that category of movies that I'm not going to ask my wife to watch with me.
Right.
This is I'm not going to pay $18 for it. This is one I'm going to find when I'm on the couch by myself after everybody's gone to bed. I'm like, okay, it's on streaming now. It's time to get this.
Well said, Darren.
This is the 11:30 movie, bro. That's what this is.
You don't need to go to the theater to see this one. I mean, if you need the big screen experience, perhaps, but like I think you'll get the same out of it whether or not you see it at the theater or at home.
Yeah, this whole week has not been a good movie for take your wife to see a movie weeks. Like scary movie.
Power Ballad. Take her to see Power Ballad.
I can't sit through Power Ballad though. So we're going to talk about Scary Movie next, and that's another movie on that list. So stay tuned for that. But to wrap this up, basically what Shane's saying is go ahead and wait for it to come out on streaming. That's what I heard.
Yeah, and I initially gave it a C on my initial review. I think I was still a little frustrated about having to look at my, sit there through the P word thing with my kid, and it took me out and made me a little irritated. So I would actually regrade it probably a B instead of a C. And
we are not pearl clutching people. It's about like this movie clearly looks as if it's marketed to young kids. And some parents have a problem with their young kids talking about sexual stuff. So
I do.
And I do too. So, even though I probably think it's funny. Personally.
Yeah, if I had been by myself, I wouldn't have cared.
Yeah. All right, guys. That's it. What?
I think we're going to have to start doing morals at the end of the BRANE Show every week. Just like if you in a pose like that with your arms going.
There you go. Yeah, John, what did you learn this week?
Remember, kids, don't do drugs till next week.
Remember, kids, Amazon executives aren't always right, but be the better person and take the high road.
Yes. Put down the sword, get the pen out.
I want to know when this live action Voltron movie's coming out. Did I hear that's skipping theaters?
With Cavill? Yeah, it's skipping theaters. Also, isn't that also Amazon? Oh, God.
It is?
Yep, it is.
All right, before we do that, we got a super chat from J. Owen Full. He says, hashtag save Stargate.
Woo!
Yep.
Save it.
And my boy, Jeff from Suns and Shadows Cast. Go check out his YouTube channel. It's at Suns and Shadows Cast. Also, big Stargate channel.
Woo.
He sent 5 BRANE Show gift memberships. And just a reminder for everyone, Jeff is also part of our Stargate watch-along every Sunday, as in tomorrow, every Sunday at 12:30 p.m. PST, and we are in Season 5. So come join us for that. Thank you, Jeff, for the memberships. And don't forget to go to John's channel, Sci-Fi Chronicles 79, links in the description, for that watch-along.
Awesome.
Yep, Season 5. We're looking forward to it. It's going to be good. Looking forward to it.
I'm really waiting to get to, like, my big like look forward to thing in the series is always Lost City. So I see us edging closer and closer to Lost City, and I'm just getting so excited. As someone who has seen the entire series 22 times. Okay. I mean, it's true. I've watched it so many times. It's like every year. Let's talk about Scary Movie. This is Scary Movie 6 technically, but the title of the movie is just Scary Movie, which is the first joke the movie gives you, because It's spoofing what Scream did when Scream did Scream 6, but just left off the 6 to sort of soft reboot or soft rebrand the franchise. And let me give you some quick and dirty facts about Scary Movie before Shane goes into his diatribe, which I'm sure he's going to.
Thank you for couching me that way.
Scary Movie 1 and 2 were creative endeavors from the Wayans brothers. Okay? Same guys that made this one. It was successful enough for them to make more, but the studio didn't want to cut the Wayans in, so they cut the Wayans out. They go, we don't need to pay the Wayans brothers to make more scary movies when we can just we know the formula. We have the template, which, by the way, this movie has the same template. We have the template. So we're just going to make 3 and 4 and 5 without the Wayans brothers. And so they cut them out of the deal. The Wayans brothers went on to create Haunted House or something like that. Yeah. Haunted House 1 and 2, which, coincidentally, the director of those movies is the director of this movie. Then, years later, guess who's back? Back again. The Wayans brothers got their precious Scary Movie back, and the first joke is they're just calling it Scary Movie because that's exactly what Scream did with Scream 6. The interesting part about this is not really like the history of it, because whatever, but the Wayans brothers are very funny people. Like, they're funny guys in living color. Funny. Every time I ever seen a Wayans brother in any TV show or movie, at the very least, you get a laugh out of me.
There are more talented Wayans brothers than others.
That's true. That's very true. Because my favorite is actually the youngest. I think he's the funniest one.
Really? You don't like Home You Don't Play That, huh?
Nope. I like the youngest one. I think his name is I always forget.
It's Marlon.
Marlon. Yeah, I think he's the funniest one. He's funny. Huh. And it helps that he hangs out with Charlie Day and people that are funny now to me. Okay. Anyways, this series, this movie is a return to the Wayans brother comedy. And I haven't seen the movie, but I did see a breakdown, and it looks like it follows a very similar format to the first two. So I'm going to let Shane go into his diatribe now, but just so you know, this is essentially Scary Movie 1, just in 2026. That was the first joke, which is what landed, and we did this whole clip 3 months ago when I said, look, I don't even like these movies, but I love the fact that they're doing them. And that's the important part to me, is that irreverent humor is back on the menu.
I'm going to preface this by saying, and thank you. Actually, Brian, that was a really good setup.
Thanks.
You're not usually that good at this. And,
I'm trying better, bro. I'm trying to be
really
better. Not for you, but for them, for the people that watch.
They're the only ones that matter.
They're the only ones that matter. Yeah.
Okay. So listen, I got to tell you guys, let's preface this by saying I'm not a fan of these movies. I've never been a fan of the Scary Movie franchise. And I am not a huge fan of Marlon Wayans and Sean Wayans' humor, although I do love their older brother. That said,
not that younger one. I'm not talking about that guy. The younger one, the grandson.
I don't know, dude. There's so many Wayans brothers. We've even been sued by one of the Wayans family.
Yeah, okay. That's actually, we were actually sued by a Wayans cousin. We were actually, Darren, we were actually sued by a Wayans cousin once, and he invoked the name of the Wayans brothers to make us fearful of his lawsuit.
Right.
And you know what we did?
Yeah, we ignored him.
What did you do to get threatened?
It was like business stuff,
business stuff. Long time.
Yeah, he ordered like stuff, and we delivered it, and he didn't like the way it was delivered, and we said,
not in living color, sort of.
Yeah, it wasn't entertainment stuff. It was like manufacturing stuff.
Yeah, he was starting his own business. Anyways, we were helping him with it. It's just it's old news, and I don't want to go into it, but I did mention it. What I will say is this. I know I mentioned it. This movie.
Thank you, Damon Wade Jr. Thank you. I'm sorry, Shane.
No worries. This movie's a terrible movie. Okay.
Wait! Don't pull any punches, Shane.
I'm sorry. Listen. Rotten Tomatoes. I don't normally agree. It's 26% though, and if it's a 26%, it's usually pretty bad, right?
Yeah.
Now, that I'm also trying to say, I'm not a huge fan of these. I love Anna Faris. I've loved her for years and years. I'm a big fan of Regina Hall. there are people in this movie that I really like. But the problem with this movie is that it feels like a whole bunch of skits that have been thrown together. It doesn't feel like a cohesive movie like it typically would. So I really don't like those aspects about it. I feel like the Wayans brothers like went way over the top because they're back. And so their humor is almost like not funny, trying to be so hard to be funny that they're not funny, if that makes sense. But what I will say is I love the irreverent humor. They attack both sides of the aisle over and over and over again. And it's been a long time since we've gotten that. We need more. Everybody can be targeted for humor.
Yes, everyone can be targeted for humor. It's a joke. Relax.
I mean, they go after, the right. They go after the left. They go after, the
gays,
old,
the young, the black, the white. Yeah.
They go after everybody. And some of it is funny. I mean, I genuinely laughed 5 or 6 times. The problem is there's about 150 jokes in the movie. So, but I did laugh 5 or 6 times. Now, the one really great thing about this movie is its ending is epic.
Hold up before you get there, because I didn't want to talk about it. My friend Derek, you know what he told me about the jokes? He said it's almost as if they didn't want to leave anyone out of offending. So they crammed, I'm saying this is what he said. He goes, they crammed as much as they could in this thing so that every possible social class, race, gender, sexuality would be offended. So that they can say we've offended everyone. But what that makes for a bad movie because there's not a lot you can connect to narrative wise.
Well, it's
basically
like
a sketch show, right?
When you try to make everyone happy, you don't make anyone happy.
And so if you try to offend everyone, then you have a bad movie.
Right. So, I mean, but they did. I mean, I got to tell you, they came out trying to do it and they came out swinging. Let me tell you one thing about this movie. This movie is a revenge movie in every sense of the word. They make it very clear how they feel about having this franchise taken from them. And it is thoroughly interwoven into this story.
Yeah, I was told the last 15 minutes are hilarious.
The last 15 minutes are pretty epic. And I got to say, just a perfect way to end a movie like this. And it also says a lot about like kind of what current studios are doing with older franchises, bringing along this newer generation. And they have something to say about that. And as fans of all these, we talked about Stargate earlier and kind of looking for that younger audience, the Wayans brothers go after that younger audience, bro. Big time, hard here. Right. So if you guys are a fan of that, you might want to at least watch the last 15 minutes of this movie. But, overall, I think I gave it a C-.
Yeah, listen, the Wayans brothers, they've always done the same thing when they make a movie, a funny movie. It is a series of sketches. It's a series of jokes. So let's write a bunch of jokes, and then they connect those jokes together in a narrative. And often, if you have the right director and the right screenwriter, they can take your jokes and weave together a narrative that makes the jokes even funnier because now everything's connected in a way. Or it makes the narrative interesting because everything's connected. But if you don't have a good screenwriter, and you don't have a good director, and you have the director that made The Haunted House 2, okay, no offense, guy, but if you have people that don't have a lot of skill or experience, then what they're going to do is take these iconic comedians' jokes, and they're going to make a series of scenes that have no connection to each other. And we've seen that. Mad TV, Saturday Night Live, In Living Color, right? And when you do that in a movie, and we've seen this before, movies that are just gigantic sketch shows are never successful. They're never successful. They are successful. You can have TV shows that are successful in that way, but there's never been a movie that lacked a narrative that had a broad appeal. So, which means that's sort of what the Wayans did here, like they've done in everything. But I think in previous projects, they may have picked better screenwriters and directors that can weave their offensive jokes together. So I'm not even knocking the Wayans brothers for this movie, even though I'm still going to watch it. I'm more so knocking the talent they hired, that they usually hired to connect all their jokes together. Because that's clearly, and this is exactly, everyone I've talked to said the same thing. There's no story here. It's just a bunch of jokes in a long movie. and it doesn't really work that way. It might work great for Instagram reels and in social clips and TikTok, but it's not going to work great in a movie.
Right. John and Darren, do you guys have any thoughts on the Scary Movie franchise? And I don't think you've probably seen this movie yet, but do you guys have any thoughts on it?
I've only seen the first one. God, must be over 10 years ago since I last saw it. So I've not really kept up with them, but I've had people at work who've said they've gone to see it and they enjoyed it. So I don't really have much else to say on these, really. I know you guys love it, or well, you love the originals. But,
no, I don't love the originals.
Yeah,
I like the concept of offensive humor not being offensive anymore.
Yes, I like that.
Yeah, we need to go back to that. Yeah.
I want irreverent humor. I've never liked the scary movies. Never. But I like the fact that they existed. And we went for a long time now where irreverent humor was not allowed. And we're starting to see it back. And so when they came, and that trailer they released was damn near perfect. When it said,
the funny stuff is in the trailer, by the way.
Good.
Most of the funny stuff.
The trailer was perfect because it literally was like, we're back again because the world needed us. And it just had this, it's just a perfect tone. Whoever made the trailer, honestly, they should have hired to direct the movie.
Hey, they've done that a few times. That doesn't work out, bro.
Maybe you're right. I'm just saying the trailer was so much better than. Anyways, go ahead, Darren. What do you think, man?
Scary movies, not my thing. I've never seen any of them, but I'm with you. I'm glad that this is a thing that exists in the world, and if it's been gone for a while, it's good for it to be back.
Yeah. Oh, almost long as.
But I thought that's right. You were describing like the sort of just kind of disjointed jokes with the lightest of narrative connection. I thought that's what this franchise was.
Yeah. Okay. So that is what Scary Movie is, but that's not what all the Wayne Brothers movies are. So, I think the reason why previous Scary Movies, at least Scary Movie 1 and 2, I think the reason they were successful was because even though it had the same format, they did have really good screenwriters and directors that made it look glossy and sort of tied those things together. When you get to Scary Movie 3, and I've seen all those movies, even though I don't like them, I haven't watched them. Scary Movie 3 and 4 and 5 really are the same thing. To be fair, Scary Movie 6 is the best scary movie since Scary Movie 1. But that's not saying much, A. And B, it still suffers because it doesn't have the direction and the screenwriter that actually have experience in working with Wayne's brothers and their sort of disjointed humor that the first two movies had. So
no, Darren's right. Usually the movies do have this like light, obviously the joke is about every scary movie that's been recent, right? That's the whole point of these movies is to pun and make fun of other scary movies, which they do really well. I think in this movie, they tried to do so much. They tried to cover so much ground because of so many years of not being able to do the franchise.
Yeah.
That they tried to throw everything at the wall. And so you kind of lose the narrative of what's the overall narrative going through the whole movie supposed to be. You kind of lose track of it.
They were trying to offend everyone.
Right.
Which I respect, but
right. Yes.
I respect that, but dude. All right, well, that's what you guys think. Are you going to be watching Scary Movie anytime soon? Hit the chat in the comments below. Okay, guys, we're going to talk a little bit longer, but there's going to be a timer on the screen that is taking us to the members section. And sadly, members section is a little too freaky naughty for Darren, and Darren's going to have to go.
I'm not a member.
He's not a member. He doesn't want to be part of
Darren said he's not a member, but he wants to get freaky naughty. That's what he's saying there, everyone. Do you notice that?
He doesn't want to be part of our freaky naughty nonsense.
Yeah, what's going to happen here? Are you guys going to take your pants off? What does this look like?
Oh, the pants are already
Darren, I came into the show with no pants, my brother.
Yeah.
I don't ever wear pants when I'm on stream. Listen. If you have kids out there, blockers, ready? It's a kink. Just saying.
Yeah, in the member section, we're going to be talking directly to the fans, to the members who ask questions. We're going to be, and those are the topics we kind of go through, and then other stuff we might not have covered here on the main show.
Yeah, we have a couple more stories we're going to get into. Really, the members section is for members. It's a little more personal, and we talk a little more, it's not public facing, so that's enough. That's all we got to say.
Have fun, guys. Thank you for having me. Let's do this.
Hold on, before you leave, I want
less
to
than 3 years before you have me back.
I want you to leave the right way. Okay.
All right.
First off,
Soon.
I do hope that we can have you on again. Okay. Maybe even you and David. That'd be cool. Have like
That'd be cool.
a 6-way panel, not 6-way panel. Okay. And then also, I want everyone to know where to find David. This is going to be a clip too. GateWorld.net. You can get to him on GateWorld.net, on YouTube, as in GateWorld. Thank you, Lord Toth, my dude. Right there. He just got it. On YouTube, but also on the internet. And I want you to know something about GateWorld. And I'm not trying to glaze on Darren too much here, but I have been a consumer of Darren's website, his product, for like 15 plus years, maybe longer. I have been a consumer of GateWorld for such a long time, for longer than I've been a consumer of YouTube. So I do want to thank you, Darren. I've told you before, but you are what allowed me to connect other people to Stargate. When people wanted to learn more about Stargate, I would often send them to GateWorld. I would send them GateWorld links, how to explain. People go, well, how does this work? How does the replicators work? I would literally be like, here. And I'd just send them a link to GateWorld. For years now, when we made our first documentary, we poured over GateWorld articles and GateWorld text to make that. Like part of our success is because GateWorld exists.
Yeah, we wouldn't have in any way, shape, or form have known as much about GateWorld without you, because you have been the torchbearer. You and I know David as well with Dial the Gate. But so we just want to say thank you, Darren. I know we do this frequently, but you mean a lot to us, and you mean a lot to the Stargate community, amazing amount, and we just really appreciate you, man.
And that's why in our latest doc, there was a point where we did a cartoon animation, and I made sure to put GateWorld University behind the characters because we went to GateWorld University. Okay,
I love it.
All right, so yeah,
Appreciate
that's it. We're gonna say goodbye to Darren. And we're going to be going to the members here section here in the next 5 minutes. So if anyone wants to say, what you got anything on the way out, guys? We have 5 minutes before I go to the members section. John, you want to start with you?
Stargate SG1 live watch party tomorrow. Thanks, guys, on Sci-Fi Chronicles 79. So we're on season 5 tomorrow. It's a great show. We watch them in Discord server together, and we all comment along in the YouTube live chat. It's great fun. Bring your drinks.
Also, we get freaky naughty.
Enjoy it.
It's freaky naughty time.
We get freaky naughty, and that's why they banned me from the production set of the new Stargate series. In fact, I may be the reason why they cancelled the show, to be honest, everyone, guys, because of that.
Boo, boo.
Yeah.
JC Chappie, thank you so much. $5 super chat. I'm late, but I'm here. I'm spitting nails about Stargate cancellation, starting from the beginning and listening while I angrily do yard work. Thank you so much, JC Chappie. We appreciate you, love you, long-time member of the channel.
JC Chappie, who coined the term brainiacs.
Brainiacs. You guys are all brainiacs. That's right.
He coined the term brainiacs, which is cool.
Also, super huge thank you to Kenneth LaRoque, our man, sent 5. Also,
absolute legend.
Thank you so much for doing that, Kenneth. You know, Kenneth's been a long-time producer. We love him so much. Thank you for supporting the channel, and all of you new members. Some of you are new names I've never seen here before. Get to come to the Freaky Naughty session with us. So fantastic.
We got Shane saying freaky naughty now.
You know, I wasn't on board for this in the beginning because you know I'm the conservative one here, but I'm down.
All right. You got anything to say on the way out before I wrap it up? Because we have a few more minutes.
Yeah. Well, go sign all the petitions. We've talked about Darren. Darren, what do you have next on your plate for your channel?
All the stuff that I thought I was going to do last week, I got to get back to now. In addition to trying to organize the messaging around this campaign. So I don't know, what am I doing? I got like 5 things in different stages of production, but for a while it's just going to be covering this news for the most part. People's reactions to the news and where they can go, where they can spend their energy. We'll keep talking about it.
Do you have any help, or is it all you?
More help lately. It's mostly me, but yeah, there are some other editors and writers who are, when big news hits like this, they, you know, everybody gets energy, and people on the GateWorld team get energy. So hopefully it won't just be me.
Okay, awesome. And I hate to put you on the spot here, but if somebody did want to help participate in things that you do, how would they reach out to you?
Yeah, I've got a page set up if you want to go to gateworld.net/contribute, or just send me an email, webmaster@gateworld.net. And then we've also got a GateWorld Discord you can find linked in any of my live streams.
Perfect. All right, guys. And listen, we really thank you guys for being here today. I know we didn't cover as many topics as we normally do on this one, but we felt like Stargate really needed to get the lion's share of the show. It's the biggest news in our community pretty much in a long time. And our hearts are heavy. They're broken. But hopefully if we all get behind this, change can still occur. So just, kind of continue lighting the tires. Next week, of course, we're going to have Latino Slant here, Paulie, on the show with us. Down the road, we're going to be looking at some other folks to bring on to continue this, talking about what's going on with other people in the industry. So make sure you guys come back next week if you're not already a member. And I know we have a few more minutes here, Brian, but
no, we're gonna give people a preview of the members section and just go over there. But I did want to say, if you want to support us, don't forget, go to mixtees.com or mxtz.co. Someone asked where to get that Save the Gate shirt. It's right there. It's on. If you go to the website, go to any of the apparel sections like Popcast or whatever. Type in Stargate Command or /Stargate. You'll see a bunch of our Stargate stuff. Not everything we've had in the past is on there. Some stuff we don't have license for anymore, and that's not there anymore. But there's a lot of cool stuff there, so go check it out, man.
And use coupon code BRANE Show,
BRANE.
Just BRANE.
BRANE.
Get 20% off.
It's 10% off.
Okay, sorry, 10%. This is why Brian does.
Killing it, bro. What are you doing?
Sorry. Remember, proceeds go to marketing for Save the Gate.
Okay, because there's a couple more minutes left on the wheel, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna hit the end stinger, and we'll give you everyone a preview of the members stream, but it'll end in a couple minutes. So become a member today, bottom left corner. I'll see you guys later.
Hearing, yes.
Have an awesome week. See you tomorrow.
Here comes the
Okay.
Are we in the members?
It's gonna kick over. So people.
So about a minute left. We're in the member section, even with Darren a little bit here. We are gonna kick over to Darren. The live stream will end in about a minute.
It's gonna switch over to the members section, so people are getting a preview of it. But yeah, welcome to the Freaky Naughty members section. You can leave whenever you want, Darren. We love you, bro. I mean, we know you don't got to stick around for another hour.
I got a dip. Thank you.
Thank you.
Freaky Naughty. Have fun.
All right, we will, dude. Thank you so much, Darren.
See you, Darren.
Have a good one, bro.
Yeah.
Love you, man.
All right. All right.
Be right back, guys.
Yeah, dude. You know what I love about Stream OBS is the ability to like instantly swap from 4 people to 3 people.
Really?
Like a TV station. Like you don't see it until it comes out, but it's like a TV station. It's instant.
I was wondering about that.
When you use Streamlabs and other like these other tools they have, there's all this like awkward thing where you have to like reposition the camera and stuff. It's just not as seamless as it is with OBS, man. I know OBS is not for everyone, but if you're using YouTube and you're tech, proficient, you need to, try OBS. You'll be amazed at your capabilities with this platform.
We're about to lose the rest of the people. If you want to keep with us, please become members. We love you. Appreciate you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The preview ends in 15 seconds. Welcome to the Freaky Naughty section. We're going to go right to the members. I'm going to pop that chat on screen. Bye, everyone.
Okay.
Dude, one thing I was looking at the score for... I'm not trying to switch back to Masters of the Universe here, but...
No, it's fine. I don't know if we talked about it enough, honestly.
I mean, we're running out of time.